Welcome to the Bardic Inspiration Podcast. I'm your host, Brad the Bard, and today I have a man, a myth, a legend, Wes Nihil with me. And before we get started, I just want to give a giant shout out to the sponsor. We are here today coming at you guys from Champion Sound Studios. If you guys want to do a podcast in the New Jersey area, please reach out to them. All their information is in the description. Additionally, if you guys like horror, sci-fi, creative writing, check out Vedinian stuff. It's all in the description. What's going on, my man? I'm just going to come up a little closer to the mic here just to make sure we're picking it up good.
Check. 1, 2.
We are awesome, man. Yo, so I was listening to your music on my 2-hour drive here.
Okay.
And I think I picked a favorite song. The Shadows of Light was dope, man.
All right,
I almost crashed watching the music video because I was getting into
great.
it too much.
That's great. But it's not great. Don't drive in YouTube, everybody.
For real. But yeah, man. So tell me about like some of your inspiration, bro. It's wild to see someone go from like hardcore punk stuff to like hip hop and doing like the stuff that you're doing now. Like,
right.
I kind of want to talk about like your creative journey. When did you decide I'm gonna become a performer? And then when did you become, you're doing all these tours and everything,
When I was at a very young age, my grandparents owned a house in Irvington, and I used to go there for the summers, and I think something to do with that and like 1990s MTV hip hop. At the time, I got into like, since I was a baby, I've been into. My uncle's been putting me onto old school rock and roll, punk rock stuff. But since I was a baby, like, I guess like in the womb, we're all trained with beats and beats per measure in our brain. So like at the time in the 90s, I used to sit in the driveway on the back of my mom's Blazer and listen to like Liquid Swords, Genius of Liquid Swords. That's like one of my favorite hip hop albums of all time. Naughty by Nature, Cypress Hill, mixed in with different stuff like that with like still cassette tapes. And I used to go to the front porch in Irvington when I stayed with my grandparents. I would stay there all the time, and it was like back then it was like the Compton in New Jersey. So I looked up to all the neighborhood gangster dudes. I was like, these are guys that like, like came up that had nothing that were somebodies, and I kind of like, just saw inspiration through streets and hearing shit and seeing shit and the hustle and the grinding. And I used to sit on the front steps and rap, and all the little kids in the neighborhood would come listen to me rap. And when I wasn't there, they'd like knock on the door and say, "Where's Wes Nihil? Where's Wes Nihil?" But I think the inspiration, I don't know where the performance inspiration came from.
That makes sense, right? You kind of naturally had a knack for it right out the gate, with just performing on the porch. So
I would just always.
You never had like that stage fright issue. You never had to overcome that shit?
With Razor Blade Handgrenade, sometimes they'd be like, "Oh, you get nervous at a show or something." Like, bro, like you did 1 million shows, like, but it wasn't stage fright. It was like social anxiety or something.
Yeah, I feel you. That
like social
definitely
awkwardness because you got to talk to 15 million people and you go.
Yeah, but once you're on stage, it's like I'm home.
Yeah, it just clicks in.
That's the easy part. It's
just
funny.
Clicks in.
I've done performances. Usually, I have like a ritual. What I'll try to do is I'll just take a shot like 20 minutes before the show and takes the edge right off.
Liquid balls.
Yeah, liquid balls. Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Let me just bend this down just to make sure. We want to make sure that we're hitting like the end of that green.
Gotcha.
If possible.
When it's picking up. Yeah.
But anyway, that's fucking awesome, man. So you started with Razor Blade Hand Grenades. That was like your first band?
Yeah. I started with Razor Blade Hand Grenade. I started like the name Wes Nihil kind of came. I was living in a warehouse in Newark. I lived there for like over 12 years, something like that, early 2000s, from like 99 or 2000 to, I don't remember the exact dates and times. And I don't know, I just kind of found a groove. A homie of mine put me on to like, he brought like the little track-to-track recorder. We used to like put beats in through the PlayStation type shit and like record and do hip-hop and music. And I think Razor Blade Hand Grenade were just kids that I grew up with in Union.
Yeah.
When I was living there, they were seniors in high school when I was a freshman, so they were like the older punk rock kids. And I had my first tattoo when I was 14. They had their first tattoo when they were like 17. So like,
so you beat them to the punch.
Yeah, like I was like ahead of my time. Like, and then before that, I had these cats from over there that when I was 10 years old, I was going to shows with them and like doing wild shit. Like I had a little mohawk. I was rollerblading past my neighbor's house, Tommy McAuliffe, and he's like, yo, kid, come here. And they were like all into like hardcore punk rock, so they kind of put me on. But like, you know, that whole, it was like UK 82, but like punk rock, but not. You know, there's a different timestamp, a different period, a different it was just you know, it was a different time. So it was like, I think that's where like a lot of the you know, and I was like, when I was going to high school, when I was like punk rocked out, I was like rapping with dudes that were older than me. So it was like always this transition that was always like, you know, they used to, when I was a little kid with my homie Tom, like they brought me to my first show, and I remember them swinging me around with my arms, and like I had little Doc Martens, and they were like knocking people out with my little steel toe boots. And like they used to tell me like, yo, go run up and like knock that kid off his bike and beat him up. I'm like, who? And I would just run up and just like snuff somebody off their bike, bro. And just like, and I was a little kid. I was beating up kids that were like in high school. I was like 12 years old, 13 years old, because they were like, go do that. And I'm like, what? I'll do it, like a little pit bull, you know? So like, just inspiration from like the older cats that are like, even now, they look back and they're like, yo, that's Wes Nihil, like little Wes with the mohawk, like Wes, like he's got head tattoos now. It looks crazy. That's him. Like, yeah, same person.
What made you inspired to like? I mean, I'm assuming here you're head to toe tatted up.
Yeah. I think it's the tattoo inspiration is I got into punk rock like at a young age, and I remember my grandfather had like a Death Before Dishonor tattoo. It was like green, and I thought it was like the coolest thing in the world when I was like 5, 6. I remember seeing his tattoo, and just, I don't know, the whole culture, the street culture, the you know, like where tattoos originally derived from. A lot of that is like not what it is now. Now it's like, you know, like everybody and their mom has a tattoo, and it's so popularized. Like back then it was like, when I was 15 I got my chest tattooed, and I had 14 I had my shoulder tattooed. Like it was still like kind of like, oh, like
taboo.
It was taboo. Yeah. It was like, why is this little kid got a tattoo? Like I got the ID upstairs, and the tattoo downstairs is like pre 9/11. I got a Vermont operator's license, 21-year-old ID, like say William Carps. But just the whole like, you know, just I just always wanted one. And I remember I got my first tattoo when I was 14. My mom came home, and she saw it on there for a couple weeks, and she tried to like rub it off with a Brillo pad. She's like, oh, that's real? Like, where the fuck did you get a tattoo? Like, and I was like, oh, no, whatever. And she found my fake ID, and I just kept going from there. Like, I never stopped. I just kind of I was tattooing for a little bit too. I was in a lot of tattoo magazines, tattoo books. All my friends, you know, one of my homies that passed away, he was apprenticed under my other boy, and he, you know, he was tattooing my head at the time. It was kind of like I was working at the shop, and it was like kind of like, yo, they want me to build a machine. I was already making needles. I put in so much work there. And he stopped working at the shop, and he's like, they want you to do what? He goes, here, man. He goes, hold on a second. And he gave me 2 machines. He goes, you're pretty much fucked anyway. Like, here's your future career. And that's kind of like started, you know, tattooing me and my homies. And I was still young at the time, doing razor blade, and I was doing like professional hand pokes. I was doing it before hand pokes were like popularized.
Oh, like the Asian like method.
Not like that. Just like with like a stick and poke, like stretching the skin properly.
Okay.
So I kind of got a.
That's how they do it in prison, right?
Yeah.
That's what you see in
or like the jailhouse machines, you know, like and that whole thing, I was kind of got to poking around and feeling like the layers of skin and where it goes in it. Now it's like popularized. Now it's like a huge like hipsters, you know, thing. And that's cool. That's cool that they do that. And it's like, you know, whatever everybody feels and vibes with, that's cool. But I was doing it way before it was like pop. I was in a book under hand poke. The Idiot's Guide to Getting a Tattoo. Shout out to John Reardon. He wrote an Idiot's Guide book, and my head's under Job Stoppers, and I'm under the hand poke chapter. But that's kind of where it's just been a part of my life through the whole transitional. Like it's a bloodline that's like interconnected. It's like spiritual in a way. It's almost like nomadic, and like it you know, it's something that it always appealed to me growing up, you know, because it was like, you know, you don't have control over your life, but you have control over like how you mark yourself. You know? Yeah.
It's like you're in your body's like the canvas, right? So you get to kind of paint like the story of your life and shit on it.
Right,
I see the razor blade hand grenade.
Yeah. That's it. That's like one of the first razor blade hand grenade tattoos. It got like a cult following, and then we had like motherfuckers in like Southeast Asia that started getting it within the first 2 months of us being a band. It was like it caught on like that, you know.
Yeah.
And it's in like, you know, other things that are like connected with some other things that it's like you'd be like, wait, what? Like that's in that file on here. Like that's pretty bugged out.
Yeah. it's wild. So you started touring with them, right? That's the kind of beginning of where
we started doing shows with them, and before that, I was doing open mics, the Pyramid, doing hip hop stuff, and then
Oh, so you didn't make like a transition. You've always kind of just been entertaining.
I always
both
just
genres.
been kind of like I got out of high school and I was like I want to do like the rap shit professionally. So I went to Institute of Audio Research. I met a couple people there, and like it just wasn't what it was. It was back in the day. There was like it was different. It was a different time, and like people just kind of went there because they wanted to make beats and they wanted to blow up and get famous, and I just went there just because this is what I was wanting to do. Like
you were just passionate
about like so it was like straight out of high school. I went to like Institute of Audio Research, and met a couple people there, and started doing music with my homie Rob Logic, and he's an amazing musician. On my first album, the Wes Nihil one, there are a lot of his beats that were older ones that I pulled up later, but I didn't really put anything out when I was going to college. Just kind of was like doing open mics, and like we put out some stuff that was like more underground with a couple of my homies from Jersey, and I don't know. I just I clicked up with my guitar player Greg, OG Greg, because I didn't see him in years, and then my pops brought him to the warehouse, and like we just clicked up and we just started doing razorbladehandgrenade as a joke, and it kind of like we were doing it on piano and keyboard, and then we finally came up with songs, and it was very hip hop related. The first demo, like very lyrically hip hop inspired, and it just kind of blew up in the early 2000s. I definitely vibed
like off of a few of the songs that I was listening to. There was one, man, I wish I could remember. I know it had like some pipes or something in it. I can't remember. I was like, I was driving while I was listening to it all. But the one song, I could just feel that like a new metal vibe when I was listening to the hand grenade shit. So I was like, oh man, like I was kind of wondering if like, because I heard one song that was like really hardcore, that was like a basement show kind of thing.
Right.
I liked that one a lot.
Yeah.
Fucking the mosh pit shit was dope.
Yeah, people used to go crazy for like, we brought that vibe back, that old school like Rabies, Warzone, positive energy, back to the scene a lot in the early 2000s with like the Pyramid Club on Avenue A. We used to play where Warzone used to play, and like Take Back Productions started doing their thing there, and it just transitioned to like something else. It was crazier. It was like an entity of its own. It's like I wasn't a part of the band, or the band wasn't me. Like I was just a part of this movement, and it was like it was even something we started, but it was like it took on its own entity in its own, and it kind of went the way it wanted to go, you know.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how that happens. And you could, you tell people like, oh, it's like kind of like magic, and they're like, ah, magic. It's like, nah, like some things are just magically happen. Like it's like it's like a fucking miracle. You can't deny a miracle. Like that just happens, you know. Yeah. Like and it caught on early. Shout outs to Cousin Joe from Black and Blue Productions. He picked up one of our. Gave him one of our CDs in the street one day. He goes, "Oh, what's your name, kid? You do music?" And then he heard it and he loved it. And then he, besides MySpace, and it was blowing up at the time in Brooklyn, and like kids were having parties, and they would be playing Razorblade, like thousands of kids like having parties and shit. It's like MySpace time, so like it was still like pulling up music that was like free on there. And then Cousin Joe put us on our first Black and Blue show, and then we caught on with all the New York hardcore cats. And all those people. So then it started like even more growing deeper and deeper and deeper. And then
is that kind of how you got involved with like the Manhattan stuff that you're doing?
That and my homie Joe Good Things. He was doing shows there. I always been going to shows, to like hardcore punk rock shows since I was a kid. And I was into hardcore, but I went to more hardcore punk rock like shows. I was into like, and I knew all the hardcore scene. I knew the people from the hardcore scene, but it was like smaller shows here and there I would go to. I wasn't really like a hardcore kid. I was more of a punk rock hip hop kid, you know. And but they definitely put us on big on the map with a lot. We started doing all these bigger shows, and then for a while we kind of drifted because the whole band had family stuff going on and kids and wives, and it slows down a little bit. Yeah. But and then it jumped back on again. It kept going, and it's like we're still doing it. We're actually working on an EP. It's just it's more
ebbs and flows. You gotta balance it.
That's why I started doing hip hop, so I could tour by myself and I could do all these shows by myself and go out and just continue to make music and create without having four of the people.
Yeah, to depend on them.
Depend on you.
Yeah,
and it's like I love all my homies to death. It's just sometimes like it's easier to just take a flash drive with you and a CD and just fucking go. You know?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, bro. So how did you get involved with like the touring of the hip hop stuff? Like, how did you build these connections to start? Like, you went to other countries.
Yeah,
and did this shit.
through like I was just one tour 5 years ago. That's the only tour I did, to be honest with you, in Europe. But
that's fucking epic. How many countries were you at?
In there, I think about it was Italy, Spain, Greece, Budapest, Bulgaria. That's epic, Hungary. It was like a bunch of just random countries, and it was actually through hardcore. Shout outs to Danny Diablo, Lord Isaac from Scarhead, Crown of Thorns. We clicked up. We knew each other from back in the day. Mm-hmm. And one of my homies, Joe Goodthings, gave him one of my CDs, and he heard the music, the hip hop stuff, and he's like, "Yo, Wes could do this like full time. Like Wes could this could be Wes's full time job. Like he's really good at this because he's got a really good ear act for it. He's been doing hardcore and entertainment shit his whole life. So you know, he's been touring since he was a teenager, like going into his 20s, back in the day, from like the late 80s, early 90s. So he's made so many connections from touring all over the world that, you know, he broke into hip hop with the hardcore hip hop and the different styles and the genres. And I got to go on tour. It was just, he called me one day. He's like, "Hey, you want to be my hype man?" And, you know, we had one song together, and he's like, "You know, you could come out with me and do this tour. Like, can you just let you know if you do it?" And I told him, yeah. And we did the Violent Voices tour with Sick Jack and shout outs to Sick Jack and Slane from Psycho Realm and Danny Diablo, and it was pretty fucking epic. Like, I think about now, it's like I was lucky to be able to go on tour. Like, you may not, who knows if the world will open up again.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Everything's changing. It's like I was lucky enough to thinking about the other day, like maybe I wasn't the main act, but there was still 12,000 people, 11,000 people, like in some of the bigger venues that we played.
Yeah, man.
And I got to like perform, and you know, I was helping out other, you know, there's a couple songs that I would like that I would come up, and they wouldn't mind me coming on stage and hyping them up too.
Dude, a fraction of a percent of the population can relate to anything you just said, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you definitely were, you know, blessed to be in those circumstances, right? For sure, bro.
No, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
So tell me a little bit about the warehouse thing, because you were saying you lived in a warehouse.
Yeah.
I've lived in a warehouse myself before.
Well, when we first moved to the warehouse, it was kind of like I was sort of a security guard for the place for a big homie of mine, Big Mike, and I don't know. My pops was dealing furniture there, selling furniture, hustling furniture at a showroom. And it was like pretty gritty and grimy. It was actually an old oven factory, if I'm not mistaken, and a couple other things. But when we first moved there, I kind of didn't have any place to go, and he let us we kind of watched after the spot. So you know, when I first moved there, I was taking showers like on a loading dock. And like you get out of the shower, it's like the same fucking temperature it is outside, like smoke coming off you. Like, it was crazy at the time. And I don't know. We lived there for quite a few years. Then we had they built it out, and they built an apartment up there. And then they, you know, me and my ex-wife, when they moved out, owner's son, Mike, little Mike, he built an apartment for his son. And when he moved out, I moved in there. I was staying there, and we had like, it was like some like super like exotic, like Joe Exotic pimp mansion type shit. It was like
in the warehouse.
In the warehouse. It was
That's
like
gangster.
Had like a voodoo altar room, a tattoo studio, a music studio, a gym. The studio became the gym. Like switched up. There was like a huge pool table. We had like wall to wall like gold wallpaper. Like we pimped it out after, like, you know, I lived there for like 5-6 years. Like made it like real nice. It was like something in New York could probably cost you like 10 G's a month to like for what we have. You know, like a railroad style apartment, like high ceilings, and that was kind of like the compound for many years. And yeah, man, living in Newark and at the warehouse when I first moved there, was like I was, you know, because I've been in and out like all over the hoods, all over from East Orange to Union to Irvington to Newark, my whole entire life growing up as a kid, staying different places, like just the most random places, bouncing around from place to place. And at the time, early 2000s, it was in Newark. It was down Street Pendant Projects. It was pretty sketchy area as far as like, you know, territory goes and people go. And that, like, when I was like 18, 19, you know, I was always like a little like tough, like knucklehead kid, but that definitely sculpted me into a man, because it was like kind of put you outside the box and be like, all right, survival mode.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when I started like getting into different things and getting more like head tattoos and like kind of wilding out a little crazy. I got my first head tattoo when I was 18.
Damn, dude. What was it?
Just this cross. I only wanted was this cross on my forehead, and my pops was like, kind of like get something on the back of your head, and I got like a huge cross. I was already like 60-70% covered at the time, and then I got my entire head blasted and wound up getting a cross later on. Yeah, on the front of my head.
Is there one tattoo that has more meaning than everything else?
It's pretty much all like meaningful stuff. Like a lot of the stuff is related to street stuff, and the story is the story. It's like there is no story because you're inside the story.
Definitely.
I mean, I don't look at my tattoos as they're like outside of me, or like it is who I am. So it's like it balances itself out, like counteractive.
It's like asking me which finger is your favorite. Or
right.
Like
yeah. I mean, I don't look at my tattoos anymore and say like, oh, this one or that one. I mean, I got reap what you sow on my forehead. I was like, one day I was just at the warehouse, and I was I was in Bloomfield at the time, and I told my homie like, yo, I'm going to go get my head tattooed today. I was like, what should I get? Words on my forehead. He's like, you reap what you sow. I was like, I'll call you back, and I hung up the phone. I just got reap what you sow. I needed like an idea. I was like, I need something like that's like positive and biblical, but like on some G shit, you know?
Yeah, dude, I fuck with that heavy. So you are an artist in several capacities here. Like you're a hardcore musician. I feel like the overlap between like doing punk rock and fucking like hardcore hip hop that you're doing, like it's like your gangster rap is honestly like what the vibe I'm getting off of a lot of the stuff that is out on your YouTube right now.
Like spiritual warrior, scientifical gangster shit.
Yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, bro. Yeah. Well, yeah. Like, let's talk a little about the altar stuff that you mentioned, right?
Yeah. So I used to like fuck with some dark stuff, and nothing like too dark, just stuff that I didn't know what realm I was in. Dr. John, rest in peace. He's like kind of like a little one of my like teachers, and when after he passed away, he kind of resides in my apartment sometimes. I got an altar there. I got like a voodoo altar there. I got my altar. I always had altars with Buddhas and stuff. I always like practiced Buddhism, and I practiced a lot of spiritual stuff, Taoism and stuff. And I got into this other stuff later on, not knowing what I was doing, and had to kind of like piece some stuff up with a lot of different deities and entities, because I crossed some lines, and like it's like it's okay, it's just something you learn. It's like because it's all about there's this dude that I got married in New Orleans the first time under it was like a voodoo Native American ceremony under the tree of life. I'm sorry, one of the oldest trees in New Orleans. The branches grow down to the ground and up. And the dude that was marrying us, Reverend Gold Carson, rest in peace. He used to sing songs with Willie Nelson and shit. Like, he was like some real deal dude. And long story short, stuff like that. Like he was saying, let the grandparents and great grandparents be here with us that are not here. And like when he said that, like the wind picked up, like crazy shit that you don't think like it's like, oh, this is like hoopla or whatever. And it's like and then you close off from that, because it's like like I bestow my good energy and my light to the world, and my teachings and everything I learned to spread positive energy. So someone questions that, it's like it defeats the magic that you're bringing to the puzzle. So it's sort of like it's right, a lot of the stuff that I practice now is just it's positive spiritual manifestation in a way. It's different, I work with all different spirit, Hanuman, different, a lot of different deities, a lot of different spirit. I got on my altar, I got a Buddha head, 24 karat Jesus plate, like the chief in the corner, native chief, wolves. Wolves lead the ceremonies. very much into like holistic medicine and
with like Native American
stuff, and it's just a connection that I have that I always had since I was a kid. And people say, well, you're not Native, but a lot of my homies say like you could be Native through your DNA. It's like if we're having a ceremony and you're meditating and you put on a certain song or a chant, and your tonality, like when you start playing the drums, sounds just like the tonality that you're playing. Like you can't question that. Or when you speak in tongue, it's something that comes through you. It's manifestation, like positive, creative energy. I had a ceremony 3 or 4 years ago, like more like 2 or 3 years ago, that totally like spun everything around, changed my life. Saw a new, like, you know, like I wasn't doing that great at the time. And you know, I underwent something that like I saw it, like I physically saw a vision, and it changed like my entire pattern, and like kind of led me off where I'm here today, you know, because it's a belief system. It's like Dr. John used to say, like spirituality is a simple thing. When you make it complex, it's no longer spirituality. Something like that.
Yeah. I feel like what you were mentioning about having, you know, the altar with several different, you know, deities and things like this. Do you feel like that gives you like a more balanced perspective on the whole thing? I know a lot of people that are pretty, you know, faith, like men of faith. A lot of
people are, they follow one thing and they're like, well, how can you follow multiple things? It's because, the different realms that people are into, or the different labels of things, it's really all similar and almost the same type of thing in a way. It's just different platforms. It's like Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Pandora, or whatever. It's like it's the different religions, different faiths, different. It's all in a weird way symbolic in the same way, and it's like a lot of the stuff I learned, like I learned it without learning it. Like I taught as I was getting taught, and I was teaching as I was learning, and growing as I was building. So it's like, you know, it's there's a fine line, like they say, between love and hate. It's like the same thing with like dark and light, and it's really a balance. And to find that balance is the hardest path. But it's like, behind all this shit, like not on some corny shit, but it's like, you know, like my homie said to me, he goes, oh, you have that altar that's all beautiful with all the candles. Like how I set him up is very close to Maria Sabina. I don't know if you know who she is. She's a medicine woman from Mexico, and it was just weird, like how much my altar was like hers, and she was a healer. So it's like it's a lot of healing, internal stuff. And my homie said to me one time, he said, I think it's cool. You have that altar. It's beautiful. That's all the candles, the all everything you have going there. It's beautiful. He's like, but if you can't internalize that and walk with that, like all that shit doesn't mean anything. So it's like that's kind of like embodying that light, that white light, that love. It's like, because it's like the good and evil, the battle between good and evil. Is it real? Who knows? But it's really dark and light, and people that walk farther away from the light, it's like when you're walking in the dark, you're bumping your head, and because you can't see, you're just moving farther away from the light. That's really what it is. It's a transitional period of people. It's preparation for when we die. Like it's like a lot of the things that I practice. It's you know, it's like once you lose the fear of death, is when you start living. You know, once you lose the fear, because it's like fear holds us back. Fear is like it's a challenger. It's a you know, oh, I'm scared of that thing, so I'm not gonna do that. Or I'm scared of this, I'm not gonna do it. Or maybe if this happens, I'm not gonna do that. It's like you can't think like that. You gotta just organically perpetuate your fate and go with who you are as a person. So many people nowadays are so caught up in this like hemlock of like, oh, like this is how they have me, that's how I have me. Like they have us holding us back, and like it's diverted. It's a confusion of like blocks, and like and it's separation of it's not unified. It's that's really what it comes down to. It's like when you put a label on something, all of a sudden it's like if you're single and then all of a sudden you have a wife, for example, like I'm using it as a metaphor, like all of a sudden now there's like an issue if someone says something about something because that's your wife, or you're putting a label on something, and it's like, in a way, like when marriage is a beautiful form of togetherness and stuff like that, but again, using it as a metaphor, it's like it also nowadays with all this social media, that it destroys our lives because you're putting a label on it. And it's like, how about if that thing was so beautiful and like simple, and like you could have just left it as is, and without putting a label, put a thing. It's like the same thing with spirituality. It's like once you put a label and you start tuning into certain different details, it takes away the magic from the actual magic. It's like a candle that's in the dark, that's burning with no wind. It's like it's burning straight, and it's burning solid. It's universal, and like it's diversified in its own way. When you add like an element to air, it makes the candle move. It could put the candle out. Like you can't put your candle out by dulling your senses by we're so pigeonholed. And I know I'm going off on some weird fucking tangent.
Yeah, it's all good, bro.
We're so pigeonholed by confusion of these diverted there's so many people that are just so wrapped up in this wanting to be this ego example. It's like when you stop doing that and you stop trying to be this thing, is when you become it. It's like a flip script. It's like on the other side of this is what's happening. Like it's like you have to, like, in a way, you gotta like step away to see. Like it's like when you're doing music, or you're doing MMA, or you're practicing anything in life. You when you're doing it and you're inside it, you don't see the effects that it's perpetuating upon everyone around you. So when you stop and you like look back, you're like, oh shit, like I did this, that, this, and this and that. So that's why, same thing with music, same thing with art. It's so easy to give up because nowadays people want instant results. People,
instant gratification.
They don't put out albums. Like I put out an EP because honestly, like it's hard to digest multiple facets, multiple mediums, multiple songs, it's hard for people to digest. So that's why you just put out one thing a day. Like I've been doing the live videos. They took the stages away. I just go to the street and brought hip hop back to the street with the bump box. I'm honored. Shout out to Snoop Dogg. He posted us on his Instagram. The shit went viral in one day. It was
That's awesome, man.
And it was just an example. Like I went with the homie Gutter Christ, and I'm like, we're gonna go out today. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna have fun. The worst thing that's gonna happen is it's gonna go viral. And that night, it went viral.
That's
like overnight. It was like bam. It just like I was at the studio and I'm like looking at the phone and I'm just like chilling. I'm like, yo, Snoop Dogg just posted my thing. They're like, what? I'm like, yo, motherfucking Snoop Dogg, bro, look. They're like, what? Why are you yelling?
Why are you yelling?
Snoop Dogg, bro. He posted me. They're like, it's one of my favorite West Coast rappers from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That's another one of the cassette tapes that I didn't mention. I used to have the Doggy Style, and I had like the Dr. like some a child. And it's weird because the last 2-3 years I had the Doggy Style CD in my car on repeat. Cause it's like when you roll up, like having that in the speaker, like people know your business. They're like, yo, who the fuck is this guy? Who's this white boy hood looking dude with head tattoos? Like, is he Mexican or Puerto Rican? Like, where they can't pinpoint you. It's like, a lot of my homies, we roll from the East Coast to the West Coast, and it's like they don't know what you are. And I kind of like the camouflage chameleon. Like, I'm all kinds of shit. Like, don't worry about what I am. It's just like that's just going back to the same topic. It's like don't worry about race, color, creed, religion, politics. Is like, are you bleed blood? I bleed blood. We're both human. Cool. Let's see through that, and like let's come together as one and unify as a humankind. Fuck race, religion. Not saying fuck race, religion, and color, but like fuck all the shit that divides
the labels,
us.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Like let's just build. Like you like turkey sandwiches. Man. I'm just saying example. Like I'll eat turkey sandwiches too. Cheese and mayo. Yeah, cool. A little bit of black pepper. Like whatever you like to put on your sandwich, we can split the sandwich in half and share it. Like it's
all about that, man.
It's all about that. You see that in Europe too, man. Like if I have a beer, you have a beer. We both have like a half a beer. Like it's okay. Like like out there they have a lot less. A lot of countries that are like Greece at the time was going through like a recession, but people were so loving and caring. Like because
it's about being there for your neighbor.
It
right?
is about it's very much like a lot of the hardcore and the hip hop and the metal. All the scenes are like one there in a weird way. So it's like the same kid that goes to the metal show. Like here too, hardcore kids go to hip hop shows, this and that. But like there, it's very much like just insane amounts of love. Like, and it's just like they don't have that. We have available to us all the time. They don't have that. They don't have that at their fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
so it matters more.
It matters more. They see this. I don't know. It's strange, but it's not. It's strange and beautiful at the same time because there's so much love there, bro. And it's like that. That's where it all encapsulates. Like that's the whole meaning on a lot of it. You know?
Yeah, man. I'm just kind of pondering about the things you were talking about before, and it reminded me of this quote, right? And it goes something to the effect of every man has two lives until he realizes he just has one.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
what I mean? That's like, how do you get like in tune with these like philosophical, you know, things that are in your ethos? You meditate? How do you?
I used to meditate a lot. I still meditate. I still fast. A lot of sacred medicines, ceremonies, a lot of mental breakdowns, ego deaths, a lot of there's like a whole bunch of shit we could get into. That's like probably a whole fucking episode worth. That's like a whole different. It's like that's like what's his name, Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
like that's like the same. Like I feel like we'd have a lot in common with that guy. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
There's you know, everything's holistic. You know, everything is you know, like, you know, do I consume alcohol? Yes. You know, do I smoke cigarettes sometimes? Yeah. But for the most part, your physical health is very much to do with your spiritual and your mental health. So that's what I think nowadays a lot of people are losing sight of, and they forget to like realize that that you know what's up here, like in your third eye, and what you envision and you see and you manifest, it comes to life. So it's like I started reading a lot of books, like the Book of the Samurai, Tao, the Art of Living, when I was really young, and I kind of saw it but didn't get it yet. And it's like, you know, people are like, oh, you're enlightened, you're woke. You know, you're not really fully enlightened to the point that you leave this physical structure, like this, you know, till you die. That's when you finally become crossover. But you know, there's lots of things in this life you could do for preparation, so you, when you travel that point, you're ready for that. And I think that's what it comes down to. There's no secret. It's just that is the secret. It's like, you know, it's a lot to do with prayer and meditation and just visualizing and asking for the good things, you know, because the good things come back tenfold. So if you're like, you know, it's weird how it works, you know, and it's like there's no rhyme or reason. I don't follow anything anymore. It's just kind of instinctual what I do. Like what I, you know, I work with a lot of candle magic, white candles, Palo Santo. I bless people. I do blessings, and you know, I don't talk about a lot of the stuff because I just do it. It's just something that I'm. It's my service. It's like I tell people, like, I'm out here doing God's work. Like sometimes God's work is bloody, sometimes it's clean.
Of course,
you know, like
bro.
it's still you're still doing God's work. You're still out here, you know. And I just try to help people, to be honest with you. You know, like until you know, like you disrespect me or get to that level, like. The people know me as a very nice, kind person till I'm not kind anymore, you know. And then it's like, then the metal gate comes down and you're closed off, and it's like it's all good because I'm at the point in my life where it's like, you know, I got a full-time job, I got a music career, I got a lot of things going on, so it's like I just disconnect from a lot of the negative shit. And it's not speaking PMA or, you know, a lot of people that, you know, that speak PMA and positive shit aren't really positive people. You know, it's the people out here living stuff, doing it, like bringing it to the world. It's like the people that really know me are like, oh, like nah, like Wes is like, he's like a fucking alien, but he's like an angel alien. It's weird. Like he's like they're like you're out of your mind, but you're on point. Like you know what you're talking about when you know. It's just a lot of the teachings are like, it's ancient, bro. It's thousands of years of wisdom that like comes to me, and it comes through, you know, just sacred practices and trying to, like, you know, be better to your fellow man, trying to, like, you don't realize how many great attributes come from simple, like, random selfless acts of kindness, you know. And it's like that's when you start to learn and transition your brain and your spirit, when you're like, oh, like, I don't need this, I don't need that. When it's like, oh, this is mine, this is me, this is what I have, this is what I want, this is my thing. It's like when you start giving away everything is when you start gaining everything. It's like it's not about learning, it's about unlearning. It's about going back to that childhood mentality and kind of like breaking it down to its infrastructure, like this simplicity. It's like when you're a kid, like, why are you happy? Because you don't have responsibilities. You're riding your bike. If you fall, you bump your knee, you bounce back. You're it's like this it's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like thinking as an adult, keeping that not young kid where it's like that like obviously you're learning and you're growing and learning different aspects of life, but to have that young spirit inside of you, because it keeps your spirit young, keeps you young, keeps you healthy, and like constantly, you know, you could be the most unhealthy person in the world, but if you're in tune with yourself and you're happy up here, you'll live that much longer.
How do you tune into that youthful energy? Because I definitely struggle with that sometimes, especially like in the beginning of quarantine. With like a lot of people were depressed. You know what I mean?
Suicide rates up. You know, and I don't want to get into all that, but the suicide rates up, drug overdoses are up. So much shit is up. I think to really tune in and tap into that, you have to break down like your ego, and you have to let go of trying to be something and try not to be something. Because when you it's like a double negative's a positive, right? It's like, you know, we're all so wrapped up in our own stuff. It's just like you're like, you know, you're so tightly wound by responsibilities and jobs. It's like you realize, I watched that movie that was pretty inspirational. I broke my knee in California. I was out of work for like 6 months, and I watched that movie what's it called? Give me a second.
What's it about?
It's about the minimalists, or the minimalists, I think it is. These guys wrote a book, and it's a really dope documentary. It shows you like how much you don't need. It's like almost like the medicine man lives in a cave away from the village, because the medicine man has to come and heal the village, so he stays in his own world, because he stays away from the masses that are sick, because he has to come and heal them. It's like the same thing with like the Buddha sense, where like, yo, this Buddha, enlightened Buddha, or this high spiritual figure lives in a cave, in a small cave in the mountain. Like, why does he live in a cave? Because you don't have to clean as much. You're living in a smaller place. It's like a lot to do with like stuff like that, and like how much we don't need. And like you realize when you stop doing how much you don't really need to do. And it's I mean, I'm not saying not hustle and go out there and make a name for yourself, or with that being said, but I'm saying in the sense of like kind of letting go, just not really giving a fuck anymore, because it's like there's so much emphasis nowadays on people and who they are and what they are and what they're gonna be and where we're gonna go. And it's so easy to break through now, but not break through and just be another face in the crowd. Like we're doing these live shows just for people who are going to Walmart, because they're like, oh, you can go in Walmart, right? Well, why can't I be out there rapping for the people?
And so you go in the Walmart parking lot? And
yeah, just go in like in front.
I saw you were in a park for the one.
Yeah, that's the one of the first videos we did was just an idea with me and my homie Gutter Christ, and he's like, yo, let's go to Walmart and just pull up. I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's do it.
That's
At
awesome,
first I was like, I don't know about
and
this.
you're using this device that Snoop Dogg put out?
Well, they put out one of his brands, one of his the bump box, his line. It was like the doggy style one with the album cover and stuff, and it's got the Snoop Dogg mic. Then it's just a wireless mic, and you know, you connect to put a flash drive in or whatever. And we just went out there and started doing it. And there's really,
and you can play the songs off the flash drive on the
joint. You just plug
That's
it right
dope.
in. Yeah, and it's pretty wild, because it's no one's really out there doing that. No one's doing live music. Everyone, they say, oh, you can't do live music, so people are just, okay, I'm not doing live music. But it's like,
sucks, man.
there's the music is such a positive, like it's music's the medicine. So it's like, you know, you wanna give people the right medicine to, like, you know, we're just at Walmart and like I'll try to block out some of the curse stuff, but like there's families like rolling up and they're like kind of dancing, like it makes people happy to see that. They're like, oh, there's some guy out here like out of his mind rapping in front of Walmart. Like, that's kind of crazy. And like, if you told me or someone else told me like a couple months ago, like, oh, why are you doing that? That's nuts. Then it's just like, I wasn't even in the shower the day when we did the Walmart show. I was taking a shower. Like, it's kind of insane. Like, I'm going to Walmart, whatever, wash the soap off and just went and fucking did the show.
Yeah, I mean, Dave Chappelle was doing that, right? Like, he was doing just pop-up shows in parks, like, like a couple years ago. It's not that crazy, man. Even like stand-ups, like, being affected like negatively by this whole lockdown thing. I remember I'm in like a Celtic band, and we had a show for St. Patty's Day, biggest show of the year, and like I'm worried that we're not even gonna have one this year, which is fucked up. But man, like I was so mad about that, and I've had like one performance this whole quarantine, like for the last year. It sucks, man. And it makes me, I remember when I was first kind of starting out, I used to go out and I would just play like on fucking stoops. Like I'd just play my guitar and shit. Yeah. And like seeing you do it, I'm like, fuck, bro. Like
there's a lot of people that were like a lot of people that are like breaking outside the shell. It's like the world is black and white right now. And like everything's black and white. Everybody sees grays and shades. And it's like, I just fucking hit the play button and turn this thing. And it's like, for the first time, everybody's seeing like colored visions and pictures and movies, and it's like that's what like it's almost like how is he doing, like what they're so confused. It's like it went from like 1952 to like 2039 in like a flash instant, because like to bring a platform to the street, like to bring hip-hop back to like where it came from, parks and boom boxes and breakdancing and beatboxing to actually doing it. And we've been doing the Sopranos locations. We've been doing a lot of like famous different locations just to switch it up. And like a lot of it's in Jersey, so that's why we've been doing it. And I don't know, man. I do it because I love to do it. I'm not chasing any clout. I'm not chasing fame. I'm doing it because I love to do it. And like
you're doing it for the love of the art itself.
Yeah. And it's like, man, once you start doing that's what it is. When you start doing something that you love, and you embody that, and you do it for that reason, you can't lose. Because it's like, you're not like, do I sell a lot of merch? Yeah, I sell hella merch, you know, like do I get a lot of great feedback? Yeah, and it's all positive, you know. A lot of this stuff's like it's all positive feedback, and it's I don't know, man. It's just this, you know, I'm doing it because I love to do it. I'm not really doing it to you know, like if it, you know, if it pops off hard, cool. If it doesn't, cool. It's like, you know, it's like if you didn't get the wings, you still had the Meat Lovers pizza in the trunk, like from Tommy Boy.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, bro. Man, that's incredible that you were able to just, you know, come together, and it was you and your friend. Have you tried to reach out to other people and say, yo, let's make some pop up shows? I think
Pace One, shout out to Pace One. He was he's gonna come out with me, and he's gonna do a track from the new album Catch a Body. Catch a Body that we just put out, and
that music video is dope.
Yeah, it was sick. And we shot that around the corner in Irvington from my grandparents' old house, so it was like on location, like where I grew up. It looks a lot different now. It's a lot nicer. Like the streets are more paved, and like there's not as many crack houses, and like it's not as like it's still shapeshifty. You still get like someone will pull up on you if they don't feel like they don't know you're from the area. But it's not what I think back in the early 90s it was a lot worse. But I went there and shot the one scene by myself in front of the bodega, and homeboy, shout outs to homeboy, I don't even know his name, that was in the bodega. He's like, yo cameraman, get me counting his money right quick coming out. Like, and he was just showing love. He's like, it's like some people just feel that vibe. They're like, they know, like, and as people ask me, yo, I'm from around the neighborhood. This isn't like, I'm not coming to no disrespect. I'm doing this because this is where I came from. This is like a piece of my life that I'm just it's like when you come back full circle, it's like that 360 shit. You come back around and come back around again. It's
it paints the picture, right?
It paints the picture, yeah. It's like to show that side. It's like that's like, you know, like that's where I used to buy my grandfather cigarettes when I was 9 years old. Like go to the bodega and buy him like 3 packs of Winston 100s. Like it's like the same eclectic. Like it makes you like bringing back to the whole childhood thing. Makes you feel like it makes you feel amazing again, and make you feel youthful and like full of life. Cause you like, I wake up sometimes when I'm doing all this music stuff. I've been on a week, off a week at work, and on the weeks off, I wake up no alarm clock, just excited about life, like really happy. Like today, I was doing the podcast. We did a live show today. A Sopranos.
You did today?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
The Sopranos location from the episode where Christopher gets shot in the parking lot right over that area in like South Kearney. There's like the bridge there going over with the diner. The diner is actually it's like not it's out of business, I guess, because of Corona. But
it's crazy, bro.
Yeah, it's like and it's just, I don't know, man. We're just doing it. We're just out here. Shout outs to Gutter Christ, Rich Smith. Shout outs to everybody that's tuning in too, man. That we've been getting insane positive feedback from a lot of things.
Definitely. So where are you getting like a lot of inspiration from now? Like, what's some music that you're listening to actively now that's kind of like, that you're vibing with?
I listen to I really don't listen to much music, to be honest with you. As far as popularized music, I listen to a lot of old school soul, blues,
like what?
Jazz. Man, there's so many different. I look up to a lot of old school people too. Like I listen to a lot of old school punk rock stuff. Honestly, lately I've been trying to think what I've been listening to lately. I like a lot of like Taj Mahal. Listen to a lot of Jesse Stewart. Listen to a lot of different spiritual stuff too. All different different all types of different stuff. It depends what kind of mood and where I'm flowing. I guess lately I really haven't. I've been making music every day, so I haven't really been listening to music.
Like you've been coming up with original
stuff.
Like
I've been recording like a song a day.
That's epic.
Since I've been out, like just building. I have so much stuff that I have on deck that I have to record, beats that are. Shout out to Chucky B. Shout out to Berserk. We just put out an EP, The West Side Story, and there's a lot of good things coming up as far as the music goes, and a lot of the different textures and platforms of different musics. Like I like all different crazy genres. There's a bunch of weird shit I listen to that's like. And again, it's like a lot of hardcore punk rock too, but a lot of very old school, like funky stuff. A lot of like, I couldn't even like put my finger on like the tax bracket of different things. I jump around. It's insane, like the different levels of stuff that I listen to. It's
man,
it's pretty weird.
It's interesting. A friend of mine the other day sent me like this EDM version of this like sea shanty thing. Yeah. And then I was just bumping sea shanties all day.
That's it.
Yeah, it's fucking just wild. It's so fun. Like I really appreciate music. So when I hear something new that's like weird, I'm like, fuck, bro, this hits hard.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No,
I have a really eclectic ear for lots of different genres as well. That's why when I saw the one thing that's common between your music is the passion and the intensity, right? That's the only thing that you see transcending these genres. It's completely different style, though.
Oh, definitely, 100%. It is completely different style, but stylized somewhat in the similar formats where it's like, it's trippy to see the transition of the transition. Like. Shout outs to my homie John D. Who he came over yesterday, and we used to play hardcore bands together in Long Island. And I don't know, like he does hip hop. He does a lot of hip hop stuff. He's been doing it longer than I have, and we just clicked up recently. He said, "Yo," I said, "Come through, let's record a song," and we recorded a track last night at the studio.
That's awesome.
Came down to our spot.
So what do? You sing, you rap, and you put together beats?
I would just curate some of the stuff. I do mess around. I can play guitar. There's formats in my brain that I could get out and like express to people. I have some machines for making beats. I haven't really got into it, to be honest with you, because most of the time I'm rapping and laying stuff over so many different people that I'm networking with and building with that it's, you know, it's time consuming to sit down and make the beat. Like I'm usually writing more on a notepad. I can't write it on my phone. I can only write on notepads. I mean, I can write stuff on my phone,
but it's just not the same.
Yeah, it's
man.
not the same. I just feel like the pen to the notepad and like scratching out a line, like counting out the 16 bars. Like it's a whole different vibe.
100%, bro. Yeah, there's something about putting pen to paper that just I almost write lyrics better that way. You can like scratch shit out.
And you can see it. And
yeah.
Like, it's transfer it. It's a definite it's different, man. It's a different canvas. It's like a pen to a pad. It's like it's like the paintbrush to the canvas. It's like the same thing. It's like as if you were instead of like a paintbrush to a canvas. It's like when you're writing a phone, it's like putting it on a tablet. It doesn't transfer the right way. There's not that physical grit or the
tactile
ink.
Yeah.
It's like
100%.
you're turning the paper. It's like it just, to me, it transitions back to like childhood, like vibrations of writing when I was a kid. And you know, just it goes back to like we're all trained in high school to write in notepads. Like so, like you like any form of art, like whether it's graffiti or hip hop or whatever it may be, physical statues. It's like it's all a manifestation or like it's an embodiment of us. So it's like when you make music, they say like it's symbolic of you. It's like a piece of you that you're putting into the thing, you know.
100%, bro. So what do you do on a daily basis to inspire you to create? Because like for me, maybe I can come up with like a little riff or something like every day, but to like come up with whole like concepts for entire songs on a daily, bro, that's incredible. That you can do that.
I go out there and do it. I go out there and pretty much perform almost every day, and
so you just put the pressure on yourself.
Yeah,
right?
that's really what it is. It's like, you know, it's like when they say like, you know, when you're under the gun, like you gotta make it happen. And that's really, I guess, what it comes down to. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense, bro.
You want to play a track or something real quick? I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. Is that all right?
Yeah, definitely. Bathroom right now. And again, I guess I'll plug the sponsors one more time. So we are at Champion Sound Studios and sponsored by Vedinian right here. If you guys are interested in getting involved with the sponsorship stuff, I have a Patreon. You guys can donate like $1 a month to higher end stuff that's actually going to net you shout outs on the show, just like Vedinian opted for there. So you guys can check that out. I actually can't throw that joint up because the way he has the audio routed, I can't have. Yeah, if we would have did it before, we could have had it set up.
Nah, it's cool. It's totally cool. My bad. I didn't mean to disappear on you.
It's all good, bro.
I'm back.
It happens.
We're back.
Yeah, definitely are.
Cheers, bro.
Yeah. Cheers. Hell yeah, man. Thanks again for coming on the show,
for having
bro.
me, man. Shout out to John. All I know is Goon. I just ran into him. He said, "What's he said?"
Oh, he's out there.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah, yo. Hell yeah, dude.
I was like, "Come pop in." He's like, "Yo, what up?"
He should.
John is
the way we met, actually.
Yeah, the way we met. All shout outs to him. He's got his skateboard company. Go follow. All I know is Goon. He's so. I guess we'll get into that.
Let me just say really quick. Yeah. It is insane to me, like the way that the Jersey people I know, how well you guys integrate.
It's
like,
weird. It's weird.
It's so cool because it's like, man, like, it's so crazy. Like the stoner guy is fucking buddies with like the hardcore guy, and then the fucking skater dude over here is like really tight with the fucking with the rapper with the studio. I was like, dude, this is insane. I can't believe all these things are so close. Like, I don't know how you guys. Like I go out of my way. I try hard to make friendships like that with weird people like not in my
it just I guess it just happens somewhere weird way inside. It's weird. It's weird how the transition of Jersey people are like, oh, like it's like, you know, like it's like Toxic Avenger, like, you know, it's like what, like,
dirty Jersey over here.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird place, man. It's a weird place. Everybody hates it and loves it. The taxes are really high, but you know, I don't know, man. I definitely want to. I was gonna move to Cali for a little bit, but I I'd miss Jersey because it's home. It's been home since I was a kid, but it is weird. It's a very weird integration. It's like right by New York City, but not.
Yeah.
But when me and John started doing videos, we did the first Crimson Twins video, and it was at the shutdown of when they shut down the country. It was St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, man.
It was like that was the day we started. So we put out 5 videos within the period from when they did the shutdown to the end of the year. The 5 videos, and put out the EP. And John again did amazing job on all the videos. And
he did all the videos, including the one for Catch a Body.
Yeah. He did it.
We're gonna definitely drop that in the description if you guys want to check that shit out too. That video is fucking dope.
He did the Crimson Twins. Shout out to A Sharp. We did the Crimson Twins main track. He did Lone Sharks, the other Crimson Twins song. And then we did the song with Berserk. And then we did Catch a Body. And then we did with Pace One. And we did Shadows of Light, the one you were talking about with Prime Prolific. Shout out to Prime Prolific. And yeah, man, it's crazy. It's wild that when they said you can't do it, we did it. And that's really what it came down to. It's like we were doing it because it was giving us hope in a weird way, because it was almost like post-apocalyptic. Like, what the fuck is happening? Is the world coming to an end? Like, and like I used to have visions when I was a kid of like crazy world-ending stuff, and like I'm like, oh man, my prophecies are coming to life. But it was like, you know what? If the world's gonna come to an end, why don't you do what you love?
Be a positive force.
Be a positive force, and as it's ending, like
man, that what? It's crazy that resonates with me.
It's crazy to think about that.
Yeah, well, Shadows of Light, right? Like I think that was favorite music video for sure. But I was really listening to the lyrics. Love the way that you're really articulate in the way that you write too.
Right.
Like it's really intense, but you're also using like good stuff. But there's a line in that song where you say, "I'm the engine that could, you're the locomotive that can."
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's literally what you just said. You know what I mean?
It's like the verse is like, they call me the medicine man with the heavier plan, thrown off course in opposition, steady our land, stick to the script when I spit, don't get caught in the jam, life's a trip like prophets lost in the sand, write hard, rip the page, real heavy to hand, certified, deadly on the mic, give it our stamp, gotta put in work here to live in this camp, like G.I. Joe soldiers, we go to war with your mans, verbal machine guns loaded like it's Vietnam. MC serial killer, call me Toucan Sam. You righty but can't write like you got 2 left hands. Wanna fight me but can't fight, no you ain't the champ. I'm the engine that could, you the locomotive that can't. Quoted, highly noted, steady our stance, our music's magic. Get lost in our trance, sacred like the second line, doing the dance. And I'm actually also, I use that reference because I'm an ordained Grand Marshal that leads second lines, like parades. Like,
what?
Yeah, from New Orleans. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know. It's a long story. I lit a second line over the Brooklyn Bridge that was only announced on Facebook, and like all these cops showed up and we just walked off like it was like a parade. I led like 500 people over the Brooklyn Bridge, and I was in
with music and shit.
Yeah, like it was a whole band.
That's
like
epic.
A brass band playing like like with the fucking like a New Orleans second line. And I did a New Orleans for the life and the death and rebirth life of Coney Island. I did a jazz funeral in Coney Island where we like walked all the way down. We marched the whole thing. I was this Grand Marshal Wes. Shout out to Dancing Man 504. He's
wild. How do you get?
I don't know.
How did you get that? Like, how did you get that?
It just
certification
happened.
or whatever.
It's like ordained. You gotta get ordained by someone from New Orleans.
Wow, dude.
I think I'm one of the. I don't know any other Grand Marshals from New Jersey to my knowledge.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah,
bro.
I was in a second line just as just to see it when I was in New Orleans. One of the first times I was there. Shout outs to Kermit Ruffins. I tattooed Kermit Ruffins from HBO. I blasted his whole chest up with a huge Florida Lee. Actually, like when the Saints won the Super Bowl, he like ripped his shirt open on, and it was like had my tattoo on like the national TV in New Orleans. But I sang some songs with him. My homie, shout out to James DeMary. He did a documentary. That's how I met Kermit and Smoker Freeman, Derek Freeman. He also plays drums for them, for Kermit Ruffins, and a lot of very well known epic. Used to play drums with Dr. John. Actually, like on one of my altars, it's me, Derek Freeman, and Dr. John. Just a picture of us from the front of his house when I first met him. But that whole vibration, the New Orleans pattern. Like Dr. John says, they say, what is it with the second line rhythm? Because it really is a second. The Bo Diddley sound that is a second line rhythm. It's like, it's very spiritual and connected to like the people and interconnected and it ebb and flows with a lot of the categorized different stylistics and the vibrations, and it's wild how I just connected to it. Like I said, I was just a like an outside person, and in the second line you could come be a part of it. It's almost like in the spiritual world, like you become the spirit instead of practicing something where you're praying to something. You're still praying to it, but you become a part of it. It's like the same thing with the second line. It's like you're a participant. Like you could dance in, everybody dances. Like the people who lead it, the band lead it, and they wear the sashes, the grand marshals, and the dancing man, the band.
This isn't directly related to that, but I don't know why in my mind I was thinking about, like, in them. I believe it's Chinese. They have the festivals where they have the dragon.
With the dragon,
shit, right?
Yeah.
The same kind of idea, right?
My kung fu school used to do those in the city.
That's fucking epic. And it's the same kind of thing, right?
Same, yeah.
Like
it's the same way.
Ebb and flow,
yeah,
right?
It's
like
same
it's
type
calling to the same primal shit.
Right. It's very much the dragon dance. There's a couple different ones, but I think the dragon dance, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know all the specs on it exactly, but it is very much connected just to the cultural flow to what it is, what it derives from, and it's all almost tribal in a big format. It's almost very tribal, very grounded in the root of the spirit of the people, type of vibration.
I think like parades and things like that are so important too for just bringing people together.
100%. Yeah, definitely, man.
Like music in general, I feel like when
that's
you're
why
really touched by that stuff, man.
That's why it's like if it brings smiles to other people's faces, it's just it's a direct contact, a direct connection to, like a plug-in with the flow of the connection with the people and the interactive, procreative vibration of positive vibrations. It's just like it breeds some more energy, some better vibes, and like a little bit each time and time again. It's like more and more. It gets better and better as far as the vibration goes. It's like it's very important to. I feel like it's very important to, especially now in this time, like these dark times, to put that light, that hint of light in on the whole. And honestly that's my motivation, is just to keep, it's like when your times come and your time's up and it's time to get unplugged from this matrix and go to the next spiritual form, or the next from your physical form to your spiritual home, or wherever you can become reborn, whichever you believe in, or you become a hierarchy, you become a saint or an angel, whatever you did in this life. Like until that time, it's like to not have the fear of living and doing all the things. It's like, yeah, like you try to be healthy, yeah, you try to do right by people, but it's you have to inform yourself in a way to be an inspiration to yourself, because there's so many people they're lost. It's like you're lost in this life format pattern where we're born, we get a job, we get a good credit, we have a family. By the time you fucking retire, you're 62. 2 years later, you have a fucking heart attack. Did you really live your life? What did you do?
Man,
what did you do in your life? What did you do in your life?
Give up on your dreams. Get the 9 to 5.
Yeah, I want to write a book. It's kind of like what I'm working on. It's called "Quit Your Job, Find God, Become a Millionaire." And it's like it was an inside joke, but it's like, like it's like that's what it is though. It's like like quitting your job, not necessarily quitting your job. It's it's making.
Don't make it the main thing in your
yeah,
life.
yeah. It's like
That's what it
it's
is,
like
man.
when I go to my job, yeah, I'm wonderful at my job, and I put 100% into it, just like I put 100% into my music. But when I'm not there, I'm not there. Will I be there for someone if they need me? Yeah, you know, like right now, don't call me to if you need to figure out something. I can't do that because I'm doing a podcast. But you know, I perform a lot in the job world like I do in my real life. So it's like I'm the same person, just different canvas. You know, different. You know, and it's like you know you're always talking in circles and everything, but it all comes around in a circle. Life's a circular pattern. It's like pigeons, like circling his coop until its moment of death, and like till that point in time, it's like wind is like life, which is like it lets you fly, but like also like glide with like a luminosity and flow on this pattern and circling its point of return, its destination, the coop. It's like it's the same thing. It's like we're doing all these things, but it doesn't really matter. Like one day you're gonna die, so why don't you live your life? And death is not a bad thing. It's sad. It's very sad, but it's part. It's the end. The end is important in all things, you know. So it's like it's very sad because from the physical format, you know, because you know we're as you know this you know, you're so holding on to this every little thing, and everything's so important. It's like the really important things don't cost any money. You know, the things that the most important don't cost money. The things that are the most meaningful are like the meaningless. You know, it's like that's kind of what it comes back to. I know we're going off topic talking about.
Nah, bro, I'm like digging it. Let me ask you this, man. I'm curious. What do you think happens when we die?
I think it depends. I think that you know, certain people are meant to come back and relive it because they haven't fulfilled within this short time span their position to come back. I think some people transition to a higher power to go help out on the other side and help other spirits and souls move on and move through parallel dimensions to get them to the next stage. I think some people finally take their rest, that have lived their multiple lives, that it's like they get the pass card to like finally like internalize and rest. But I honestly think it's all energy, and the spirit is something that's real. That's what people, they're like, oh, this is real life, man. This is real life. This is real. You see, this is real. It's like, this is flesh and blood. This is our metaphysical real. This isn't reality. The realm of it. It's like what we can't understand. That's beyond this galaxy of our existence. That people don't understand is there's different dimensions. There's different things out there. So I feel like what you do in this life definitely procures to your next one, and not procures, but definitely comes back. But I feel like the things that you do here, the practices that you do, prepare you for that end game. And it's you know, I've definitely crossed over through meditation and different things, and have seen some things that are not like hallucinations. They were visions, and I you know, it's scary at first, but
yeah,
once you accept it, and like it's like things come and speak to you without speaking. You know, it's pretty wild. There's a lot of you know, we could get into that in a whole other time, but it's like there's a lot of things that I've learned by just crossing over to that level and kind of looking within instead of trying to look outside. And like people, it's like the same thing. Where people are always like, oh, I gotta make big moves, I gotta do this big shit. It's like it's about a bunch of small things that make the bigger whole. It's about a bunch of small molecules that make up this wood table. You know, it's like,
damn, bro,
that's
not deep.
It's not.
That's fucking awesome.
I don't want to
man.
go too deep into all this shit.
Please, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
there's so much. I could talk about this for like 12.
You're giving me mad like motivation to like fucking fulfill like the small
your destiny
that I have, because that's like a big thing, right? Like Let's come back to the minimalism thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I mentioned this to you, but I own a school bus, right? I'm planning to like.
You gotta turn it into like an
RV, right?
Yeah.
And I want to travel with it and run the podcast from there.
That's smart.
On the road, yeah, it's gonna be.
When you doing
cool. that? Hopefully by May I'll be on the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me know. I'll come on tour with you.
Let's go, bro. Let's fucking go.
Let's go.
I definitely want to do like the same thing I'm doing, right? So I have
just have all the mics set up and
well, I if you look at my podcast from before, I had the bus and I started the podcast on the bus.
Okay.
But it's being built out. I have it at a welder right now. He just finished it. I'm gonna be picking it up on Monday.
Okay.
I'm gonna put in some new floors and like solar panels. It's gonna be dope as fuck. Yeah.
That's dope, bro.
But
that's it. That's
started in there, but I'm really want to do it up like this. Like, and it's so funny.
It's so easy to do. It's not even that. There's not too much that goes. It's just
It's just about
foam,
the
some spacing,
just,
some right acoustics.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Making sure the sound doesn't bounce to a certain area. It's like it's pretty.
I would really like to put together like a little like jamming area in there too.
Yeah, you could do that.
Because bro, I think what would be so dope is if I just have like a few musicians on in like a week. Like let's say I go somewhere like I don't know, Nashville, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna interview like 20 fucking
musicians,
some
different
in 3
musicians.
days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, or whatever I might do. But what would be dope is if I had like a collective and then we just jammed. Because that's one of those things where how could I pull like a fucking hardcore guy, a fucking like a just a strict hip hop head with like an EDM guy
just
and we all just fucking exactly, man, and just let that shit like become something.
Yeah, that's cool.
I love the idea of just bringing people together that otherwise wouldn't have.
Well, that's what the whole thing now is happening. It's what you're seeing is, like I would have never known you if I didn't know this person that knew that person that interconnected. So it's like, it's all like when you work with people too. It's like that thing that's old as time. It's like, people get confused and they're like, oh, well, this person's working with that person. They get confused. Or why is that person? But it's all about networking. Like some of the biggest people, the biggest stars, like some of the biggest, people I looked up to my whole life, people that like, that I fuck with now, like Danny Diablo, like he joke around, he says he's like, this is my son. Cause like, I used to look like him when he was younger and there's a whole funny story behind it, but
yeah,
he he wants me to build with these different people because he's like, he said, if I didn't want you to build with people, I would never fucking introduce you and been like, and he's one of the reasons that I started pushing, like I put the album out so fast. Shout outs to all the Ill Rock soldiers. I was on Ill Rock Records, still a part of it. It's just, I've just been hustling the Wes Nihil thing and just doing these live things that it's just, I'm not labeling anything, to be honest with you. It's just, I just keep creating and keep doing. I started fucking with Il Supreme. It's all independent labels though. It's all like family. It's like a family label, just a big network of family people pretty much. But started doing the Il Supreme Supreme Corpse Records because he's putting out this thing and he did all the his group's called Il Supreme and he did all the the beats and the production. So it's the same thing. It's like taking that risk. Like I drove to Massachusetts to record 2 songs, wound up recording 5. 2 years later, put out an EP that's out today. That's like, and then, some of the songs I've recorded recently, but it's all about like
incremental, right?
Yeah, and it's all just it's like a mosh podge of different shit just thrown into a basket, shake it up, and that's why it's like the West Side Story, because it's like a side story. It's like my side story. It's not the main story. Nothing has even anything to do with each other. I mean, I guess they're all kind of like hip hop, hardcore, punk rock, gangster rap type shit, but it's all stories. It's all little stories. There's like like the Crimson Twins thing. Shout out to A Sharp again. When we started doing that, it was it was just where I was at in the time. It was a period of time where he had some beats and he helped me out to derive a different flow format to almost like I was saying more but saying less and also slowing down the flow. Like the one song, I'm just trying to quote it. It's like I said, I'm motivated like razor blades upon a pavement. Your hope inflated. Hoping one day you'll fucking make it. See, I wake up grinding, so no longer dreams I'm chasing. You just a baby bitch. Why you acting so courageous? change up the flow and switch up the format. Diversity, my G. See, that is what we call that. You acting like you on top, but you ain't really all that. Your whack mumble tracks ain't what we call rapping. Who the fuck is you? Acting like you know me. My whole clique is tight, and you are not my homie. You all act alike, just wanna be phonies. You was never gangster, so how is you a OG? I spit vernacular like a 38 caliber, puncture your skull, exit wounds, large diameters. Go back to where it started and kick flows regardless. Like I beat all the charges, on point like a marksman. Dignified, simplified, so they understand it's animal style. Feed this dog underhand. Some came up quick, disrespected, made me reprimand, so I cut him out the click like Ash cut off his hand. Then I replaced him with a chainsaw. The circular sharp scythe leaves your brain sore. I'ma get what I came for. We in the sharp tank shining just like our main sword. The says like, hey yo, let's get these pesos, making bankrolls with our eyes closed. Like that whole song was derived off of making money off PayPal and big cartel. Like while you're sleeping, you're getting orders. Like, hey yo, let's get these pesos, making bankrolls with your eyes closed. You wake up, there's fucking money. You received an order. Yeah. So it's like the whole doing what you love to the fullest potential of doing it, and you know, breaking through, crossing over, you know, just getting that different feedbacks from different elements. It's like sound bouncing off the room. It's like it all interconnects somehow. You know, it's just you have control over it when you put the foam there, because it deflects it in a certain area where it was an echo. So it's the same thing with life. You're just bouncing your energy off to where you want to go, and you put certain controls in place to control your energy and what you want it to move and the momentum you want it to move. And you want to go to the left, far right, or you know, right, far left, down, spiral, whatever you want to go, your direction you could move. It says we're in control of this. It's like life is like an alien spacecraft, right? It's like you fucking get in and you're like, holy shit, man. Like there's certain patterns that are like, you know, that are touch based or like almost like braille, certain things that you can't read. It's like telepathic connections, but it's like once you navigate your way through the alien spaceship, the life that we live, and you start to be able to control and make the flying saucer move, is when you start like transitioning. You're like, oh man, like you could move light years. You could move as fast as sound. You can move as fast as time. You could control time inside your spacecraft. When you master your art, it's like training jujitsu. It's like you get in that certain lock up to choke the person out, and that certain chokehold that's like, until that point you could break your arm or your hand doing that lock. But once you get it down, you don't think about it. It's automated. It's like bam, like lock up, choke out, boom, tap out, done. Like, you know, like it's like rapping. It's like the same thing. It's like I don't try to rap. I just rap.
Yeah, it flows. Yeah, it's how you exist.
Right.
You exist.
It's like it's like that's why I exist.
Yeah.
It's like that's why I'm alive. That's like I say, like, yo, why you're here. It's like I'm out here doing my job. This is my job. Mm-hmm. Like maybe I have a job, I have a career path, yeah, and that pays my bills and that helps me make merch. It helps me create more stuff, but my path is here to do this. I'm here to perform. I'm here to be an entertainer. That's what I was born to do. I really believe that. And like, you know, and the heal would be and the music is medicine. The music is why I say, like, I'm a medicine man. The music is medicine. It's something that people need, bro. There's certain attributes from life now in this dysfunctional, fucked up, dark place. You know, it isn't if you don't pay attention to all the shit and you just focus on yourself and focus on the other people, the positive people that you want to put
whatever's
inside
in your sphere of influence, right? Don't worry about the shit you can't control.
Yeah, exactly. You can't control what you can't control is out of your control. That's
so don't even focus on it.
Yeah,
that's someone else's pay grade.
Definitely, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you gotta hone into what you know, your eye on the prize. You know, it's like when I make money selling merch, it's an accomplishment because, you know, people make stuff to give stuff away a lot of times, and that's right there a job. It's promotional stuff, you know, just giving stuff away, you know, and people pay people to wear stuff, so it's like people are paying you to wear your label and your name. It's a great feeling because it's like you're getting paid to do what you love. Mm-hmm. And it's an obsession. You know, my pops was a furniture hustler, salesman. Shout out to Billy Habes. And I learned how to hustle when I was a young age. I watched him, like, he'd be like, "Oh, you guys got your truck?" And I'd be like, "What?" Like to come to pick up furniture. Like, "Oh, just to pick out furniture." And they'd be like, "Oh, you got your truck? Pull it inside." And then we close the gate, and then they'd be like, "Get him in the deal, load up the truck." I'm like, "Oh, you need to go to the bank? Go down the street." So it's like you already wrapped someone up. You got him in. Like, you want this bottle cap? This is a really nice bottle cap. It's $846. I don't know about that. Well, it's already in the back of your truck. Why don't you just give me the money? You know, it's kind of like a it's an effortless thing, and I don't mean, I'm not saying like in a scam anybody.
No, dude.
It's like a spiritual hustle shit, bro. It's like, oh, you want the hats? I got it. Like, you know, like this song I got banging out the side. It's about like slanging merch out the trunk, son. Small increments and lump sums. Yeah. On the side, I got a cash fund, chunk of hash, and a handgun. Like, it's just like it goes with the flow, but it's like, you know, like I'm like slanging out the ride. Yeah, like I got the fucking I woke up Wednesday, put a fucking suitcase two each size in my car. I was like, and people that see me on Instagram see me that they don't really not familiar with Big Cartel, not familiar with PayPal. Oh, you have it on you? Here's cash. It's like metaphorically speaking, it's like selling like drugs, like crack. It's like you're selling the hip hop crack to the people, because it's like you can't get this anywhere else. This is some raw ill shit. Great product, great line, great design, and it's like why wouldn't you support like someone? A lot of people that support, they're like, I'd rather buy your thing, your hoodie, because it costs $40 or $45 than buy a mainstream brand, and support them because they want to support you as a person. Like, maybe they don't even know the music, or maybe they do. Maybe some people that do love my music won't necessarily wear the shirt, but a lot of people are very supportive, and I'm very lucky because of that. And it's I like to use the word cult following, because it's very much a cult following. Like, the people that fuck with me really fuck with me.
Yeah.
Like, you see some YouTube videos and it's like all positive, and it's like the same two people. Shout outs to you too on liking all my stuff. Thank you so much. But, you know, like, it's love is love, hate is hate, and it's either way you're paying attention, so I don't really give a fuck. And it's like,
for real, you still gave me the view.
I still gave me the view, and it's like, I don't put negative energy into the world, bro. I don't talk bad about people. I don't talk in a dysfunctional manner, because, you know, words are power. Words are spells. You know, you cast spells when you speak. So what you gotta be careful what you say, and you gotta practice what you preach, because, you know, a lot of this whole thing that's happening in the world is all about controls, putting controls into place. It's like, well, are you free, or am I free, or are you free, or who's free? Who, like, we're all free. We're all born into the world. It's like people have to put, I feel, more energy into almost the aesthetic of the not even the aesthetic, the people have to put more energy into the raw function of how things are processed in our spirit and our soul and our brains and our bodies. It's like an uphill battle. Like, it's you're constantly going against the grain. But it's, if you just let go and you just roll down the hill, just roll, just let it, just roll with what you can't control. It's like, you can't control what you can't control, but you can control. It's almost dangerous what you can control, because what you could do is insane. What people could do, they tell you can't do. You know, like people tell me, like, oh, are you crazy? Like, what are you doing that? Like, if you saw me and didn't know you from a fucking hole in the wall, and I told you, I bet I'm cursing too much, guys. If you didn't know me from a hole in a wall, you know, and you said, oh, Wes is wearing a pimp coat and some alligator shoes and he's performing in front of Walmart, you're like, he's fucking out of his mind. Yeah, it's completely insane.
It's who you are. You are the performer. You're not gonna let the fact that your favorite venue closed stop you from assuming you're
and shout outs to Snoop Dogg again. Like, you think he would have posted that if he didn't feel that? And I believe he's one of the, you know, people that controls what he puts on his Instagram. So, you know,
dude, Snoop's involved with some really awesome stuff, man. Like, the fact that
I've been watching a lot of his stuff lately.
Like the big Tyson fight, the Mike Tyson fight, bro. He, like, that's all.
Was all up in that too.
Was dude? He was the one that kind of integrated that whole thing together, man. I'm a huge fan of Snoop Dogg's support for artistry and martial arts, because I'm that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Snoop Dogg's a huge influence on that stuff, man.
It's definitely big with everything he's doing. And then you see different stuff like with the Martha Stewart, and he's homegirls with her, and like just a bunch of awesome things that he's a part of, and he's a creative genius. You know,
he is, man.
He's a creative genius. It's like I always tell people, like, sometimes I speak in weird different contexts of different things, and I'll make up words. And like you like, what's that word? That's not a real word. Like, yeah, no, I made it up. Like, if Snoop Dogg can make up words, I can make up words. You're a wordsmith, you know. Like, it's like not many people could pave that lane where they would make up their own slang terminology that's gonna stick and people are gonna respect it. They're gonna be like, "Oh, what are you nuts? Like, what's that? This word doesn't make sense. Like, doesn't make sense to you, but you got enough people to use that word, and then they start using it."
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
I mean, look at John. Like, for
right, exactly.
The ultimate word. I use that.
Yeah.
That's my comma in
John,
my sentences,
John uses John a lot.
For sure he does.
That John.
It's mad funny when we were doing this skate video.
He said he had you like do a trick or something.
I think we gotta link up again.
Yeah,
I want to do tricks next time, but I'll show you the video. It's pretty funny. The way it ended was pretty cool. I'll have to show you. But yeah, and you guys should definitely check that out too. It's the episode I did with John Lewinsky from All I Know Is Goon. But I basically was just trying to make it through the skate park because I skated like a very little in middle school. I fell and was like, this is whack. I don't want to do this anymore. And then, I'm 28 now. So then he took me out to the skate park. I'm like, I need to relearn all that shit and not eat shit. But I think I don't know. I handled it pretty well.
It's difficult because you gotta lose the fear again. Like when you drop into a half pipe, you gotta put all your weight forward and slap the front of your tail down. Like, if you have any hesitation and lean back, that's when you're gonna fall out. And like, it's almost like the same. It's like that's the same metaphor for life. It's like you gotta go all in. Like, if you're gonna be passionate about it, like, be about it. Don't half step or lean back or try to fall out, because that's when you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna flow in if you drop into the wave, if you drop into the half pipe with the intention to do it.
Yeah.
If you have if you don't have the right intentions and you're second guessing yourself, then you probably shouldn't be doing it because you're gonna get hurt. It's like the same thing about life. Like, don't go into this life thing thinking like, oh, I'm gonna do this thing and this is like, I think you hesitate, you crash. Don't crash. That's the name of the game. Don't crash. Like, just try to flow. Like, of course you're gonna fall, you're gonna here and there, but it's like, it's how you fall too. It's like, and that's the same thing. I'm speaking in like weird metaphors tonight, but like, that's the same thing with life. It's like how you fall, how you take your fall. Do you take your fall, you stiffen up and get scared and you fall and you break your arm, or do you fall and like let your shoulder drop and just roll off it and then like you're okay
handle it with grace?
Yeah, you got like a bruise.
You get a second try.
Right, or and you laugh at it. You laugh when you fall. I remember when I used to fucking skateboard, I used to fall, and it was like, I mean, of course sometimes it hurt really bad, but it's like like, just like laugh because it's like, it's funny.
It's part of the journey, right? Yeah, exactly. I remember in the video, you see me eat shit, and I just fucking laugh. I just laugh it off because I'm like, fuck, man, this is harder than I thought. And
the pain's good. It helps you grow. It's like
100%.
It's like learn how to take hits, learn how to fall. Like doing like when you start training your like shins and your hands, doing like the iron fist stuff, and you're breaking all the metacarpals in your hand, and you're breaking down the tissue, and you're turning your hand into steel. It's like, that's the same thing with skateboarding. Like, you get hit in the shin 15 times, you could take a hit. You could, if you get hit in the shin, like, and when you land the trick, and you're not gonna be as like, oh man, that fucking hurt. Like, you're just gonna nail the trick and land it. Or you're gonna know the pain, so you're not afraid. Because sometimes the pain is like, people are so afraid after they get hurt, like they don't want to go back and do that thing again.
Yeah.
I look at everything good or bad as a positive, because no matter what, it's helping you out in a weird way. It's like, it's just the lesson that you're learning. Are you learning the right lesson? Or are you seeing things in a different perspective? Or maybe you're maybe you should just reanalyze a lot of the stuff.
Every opportunity is like a way to grow,
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
That's fucking crazy stuff, man. So you skate as well. How long have you been skating?
I used to skate. I don't as much actively skate. I mean, we were doing board slides in front of my house with John. I waxed up the sidewalk, the curb, like recently, and we were listening to like old school like ayahuasca Native American chants. Damn, and I'm sorry, not like they're called I can't think of it. I'll send you the link, but it's an Ikara and it's like it's like calling upon all the it's a whole thing. It's like, you know, when they do these sermons. But I was sober. I had a couple beers in me, and I had my shirt off. It was like 0 degrees, and I'm like putting this song on, and I was like, I'm gonna manifest this, and I just was nailing board slides and like just landing them, and there was like a huge ditch hole in the ground, but it's like something was clicking over, like popping in, and I was just grinding this thing, and it was like, you know, manifesting it. Like I saw it, like I was holding the board up in the air like this, and then I go in and I drop in, and just like, you know,
that's fucking.
Yeah, I was skateboarding as a little kid. I don't really skateboard that much anymore because, you know, I broke my knee a while back. But like, you know, I bought a BMX bike recently and started. And when they cut off my my health insurance for my physical therapy, so I just bought a bicycle. And they're like, oh, are you crazy? Like you got to get back into shape. I'm like, yeah, well, I got to climb 30, 40 feet in the air sometimes on like extensions ladders. I need to be like, if I can't ride a BMX bike, I can't work my job. I got to like overhaul motors that are thousands of pounds, like all kinds of craziness, you know, like your knees got to be full functioning. And like, I feel like my knee's better now than it was when it was not broken. It's like bionic. There's like some metal in it.
I have a bad knee as well. And I remember once I got the surgery, I had heard from people like, you know, it's never gonna be the same. So my whole thing was like, no, it's gonna be better than this knee, and I was just training until it was, man.
You got screws and stuff?
No, I got it's a meniscus. I had a meniscus tear and an ACL tear.
Okay.
I got drunk and did parkour. Don't do that.
Yeah. No, drunken parkour is bad.
It's a very bad. Don't do it. But yeah, it ended up working out in my favor. I made some significant improvements to my body and my mindset about being healthy. There's this, I believe Socrates has this amazing quote that I hold really close to my ethos, especially while I'm still young. And it goes something to the effect of, it's a shame for a man to grow to his elder years without ever knowing the potential of his young years.
Right.
You know?
And that gives you the chills, because it's like that's the whole, that's like an antithesis of it. It's like, I don't know why I just thought of this, but it was like, there's a lyric. It's like, it's the whole antithesis, the point of all things, homeboy. It's the motherfucking premises. I said, it's a Crimson Twin song. It's like one of mine lyrics. It says, if you're poison to this game, we the antidote. This is hyena versus antelope. Could it be magic? Yes, Barry Manilow. Before I hit the block, I hit the liquor store. Can't explain it's the same, but it's different, though. Not just a new episode, it's a different show. It's a new me G in a minute, though. $1 million flow, and we the pinnacle. Because it's like, it's about the character in the movie of life, which is me. And it's like saying it, like, it's hyena versus man. It could be magic against Barry Manilow, like, it's not just a new episode, it's a different show.
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't just a new like person. This is like I transition spiritually
to the point of like your EP, right? Like that's the side
See,
quest.
This is like a whole different like I don't know, it's like the verse is like, my rhymes uplift like alien spaceships disappear and shapeshift. You stage 1 is phase 6. For days you spit the same shit, trying to move, but you're stuck in the same click. I aim quick, change lanes and dip. Spoken of in the hood like a myth. A servant, like it's just it's very much like poetic justice type flow. Like not poetic justice, but just poetic samurai gangster rap, like spiritual metamorphosizing into like butterfly, bumblebee, pterodactyl, dragon, Dracula thing. It's like, it makes no sense. Like what? Like, yeah, it changes format so many times. It's like what? It's like it's like an enigma inside a puzzle. It's like what is that? I don't know. Did you meet Wes? Okay, maybe you get it later on.
Maybe you'll get it.
Maybe you get it later on. Like, maybe they have to think about it for a little bit.
That's funny, man. It just seems like, now my mind's on like, because you said like pterodactyl Dracula shit. Well, let's talk about a little bit about the Shadows of Light thing. What inspired you to use some of the elements in that music video? Because I really fucked with it, man. Like the old school horror themes, like
it was just I pictured it black and white. The day we shot it, it was raining, and we put a backdrop in the background, and I believe the chorus is lost in the shadows of life, can't move, every day's a different struggle, if you give up lost in the shadows of light, a dark groove. My part, I'm messing up the whole verse, but the lost in the shadows of light, he says in the beginning, shadows of life, every day's a different struggle. When I say lost in the shadows of light, a dark groove, every day's a different struggle, when you give up is when you lose. And I'm messing up his prime prolifics part, he's gonna kill me, but the whole it's just it was very much like a black and white video. We shot it in one room, and I just had a vision of like all these old school cartoons, and they all correlate with the beginning of the thing when I say call me the medicine man with the heavier plan. There's a syringe going into a cup, and it's like lysergic acid from when they did the 1959 test on people with schizophrenia and giving them acid and LSD to see that, to prove that it's not evil, that it's it could even help with people with schizophrenia. So it's just an open speech about like free thought and not popularizing or trying to glorify any like drug culture. It's not that. It's just it's thinking outside the box. That's kind of why I use that sample, because the dude in it, it's just this symbolic different structure. It's just a different open-mindedness to different walks of life, different it's dark but it's light, like lost in the shadows of light, like it's the shadows of light, it's like, I don't know, I'm kind of pigeonholing and spinning around into a circle, but I think that's really where it came from. A lot of that came from a lot of inspiration. I just saw a black and white video with the cartoons, and me and John edited that. The last two videos that we shot, we started editing that day, so it changes the whole game. It's like our little secret. Shh, don't tell anybody.
So when you team up with John, you do some of the editing as well?
I sit beside him and we just kind of plug away at it. Like he's like, "What do you want?" Because I wrote all the screenplays for all the videos and conceptualize them. And if you talk to John, we should get him in here and he'll say what's up.
Yeah, that would be interesting to
bring him in
to hear his take on it for sure.
We just yo, what are you doing?
Yo, come say hi.
Come
bro.
say hi real
we
quick.
Talk about your video process.
We're talking about the video process. You gotta come pop in.
Cool. Nice.
I'm gonna let him in. We organically we organically manifested it because there's I don't know, man. We're gonna explain it when we come in, but it's just this weird. We just certain people click, and that's what it is. Oh, the man now, John boy, come on in.
What's up, bro? Tato chip? How's it
here,
going,
bro.
man?
Yo,
Can you get in?
We're both really skinny, bro. You can sit.
Yeah, skinny.
We can
boys,
share the seat,
skinny
bro.
Boy gang.
Skinny boy gang.
Yo, what up?
Yo, John's back. So he was just talking about the process, the video stuff, and I was saying how like we started doing the
for the Shadows of Light video. You said you were sitting like kind of being the co-pilot.
All the videos like co-pilot,
was,
editing, directing. I was saying how we just worked so well together, and you told me that I was just well prepared. You were like, "Yo, man, I never worked with a lot of people that are like." Have so
on
much
top of their shit.
A lot of stuff happens stuff happens organically and just on the fly, but that's because we wrote something and maybe it didn't work out at a certain time, and John's like, yo, how about if we do this type of thing? Or
we have like backup plans, but also sometimes like a lot of the finessing is like, yo, it'll just be like off the whim. Like fuck it, if we're at one spot and it's a little too like lit up, or if like like
while you're filming.
Yeah. And there's like too many people there, like certain things like we're pretty good at improving. So like, you know,
yeah,
it's crazy. Like this dude's house is like a mini Hollywood studio.
Yeah. There's so many different platforms of there's so many different platforms and different it's like we shot over 4 or 5 videos in my studio, and you would never know it's the same place. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, we had like the snake eating the mouse and shit. Like,
oh yeah.
We had some National Geographic shit there, and then we had a whole backdrop on the other side of the room, and then like it was crazy. I think we shot in there like every video almost low key. Like
like
there was always like a little storyline that had to go to that piece. But so it's about making the most of what you got.
Yeah,
like,
definitely, 100%. What's something that you didn't maybe intentionally put in your storyboarding that you saw there in the moment and you were like, yo, we gotta use this?
I'm trying to think. Well, the whole when we shot the Crimson Twins the Loan Sharks video, we weren't at first. I had an idea with Scent. Shout outs to the homie Scent. He was gonna do some graph on the wall, and he just called up his homie from the Abigail walls and was like, yo, can we get in there, or what's up? And he's like, and they're like, yeah, man, like no doubt, like just come by, come pick out the wall that you want or whatever it is. And that whole thing was on the fly. Like if I never made that phone call, and like Scent was already gonna do some painting in the video originally, but I was like, yo, we gotta go cop cans now. Like if we're gonna do this tomorrow,
Like spray paint cans.
Yeah, spray paint cans. Or that day I think we did it. And funny story, I put like the cans in the back of the car, and I put something on top of it, and I'm driving. I'm like, damn, bro, it smells like spray paint out in the street tonight. One of the cans like emptied out, like all the blue into my trunk, because I put it on top. Like shh, it was spraying the whole time, like in my trunk. It was just a big blue, and it was like we had 2 cans of blue, like the Cobra Commander blue for like the mask and we're like, fuck, man, like we need that. It was like, all right, I could just go light. And then this is what we'll do. I'll blend in with an orange. I forget what it was, the color pattern. I don't know.
Yeah, he had to like make some blue like off rip to like make the Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
Oh, he like had to come up with a way to make blue.
I think he just improv'd it with another color that was that made the differential. Like he still had a blue, but the one blue that we that was like one of the main blues we needed was like
he reblended it to make
I don't know
it
if he
work.
reblended. He put in other colors or something. I mean, that's just like a small example. Like some of the wild shit that happened like in the video.
Shit, yeah.
We were in Irvington shooting a video on the front stoop, and I had a knife in my pocket, and I put it I don't know why. I was like, maybe I pulled it out in the video, but I had it on the front step. So we went from Irvington to Newark, and we get back, and it's me, Pace One, and John. And we're setting up. Shout out to homie Rajan. It's his birthday today. He was in the video with us. One of my homies from Newark. I'm like, oh, fuck, bro. I was like, I can't. This knife has my name on it. Like I was in the hood. Like somebody could pick it up and commit a crime. My fingerprint. Like I thought it was crazy shit. Like it wasn't even that serious. It was like on an abandoned stoop house. But it's like, you gotta be careful, like leaving a knife around.
Of course.
And it's got my name on it pretty much. Like I had like a bunch of stuff engraved in it. So and I just got it. So I was like, I gotta get this knife. I was like, I hate losing shit. Your Pace is like, yo guys, we're gonna be back, man. I'm gonna take a ride with Wes. It was just like on some like off the hip stuff, and we just went, and the knife was there on the front porch. Like I hopped out the car, there was somebody walking by, and I was like, oh shit, there it is. And I pick it up and like put it in my pocket, and this dude was like, what the fuck is going on? Like he was like kind of bugged out. Like you see like this other tall dude and me in the car, and they're like, what are these guys up to? But it's like if that never happened, then like we like I don't know. It's just when we got back, like we shot some of the improv stuff where Pace One was like, he was joking around from like the movie Casino. He's like, you're gonna make me fucking pop your head? Like, you're gonna put your head in a vice? And John was just filming him because I made a fake body, and there was like this old 1950s.
He's like chopping it up.
Yeah, this old 1950s vice.
Yeah. Yo, even with like the whole, like the first like fucking Crimson, even the first Crimson, like I'm backtracking real quick. The first Crimson Twins video, even having the one girl as like the secretary.
Right.
Even like certain things with like Peep the Theory, and we had we did like the taxi scene in that. It's just crazy. Even with the and then the Pace One video, like even everything in the factory, we had to like shoot certain like certain takes like a couple times. My car is always somehow in the back of every video. It's
funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
There's a bunch of weird shit. There's a bunch of really weird, like, because I come up with ideas and we're like, all right, well, we can do this, but like, there's a whole. The Peep the Theory video was crazy because we had a barbecue scene. It was like a background for a thing. We had a taxi driver that was like my guitar player, OG Greg from Razorbladehandgrenade. He was like, I had him play a part, and like he was rapping my verse because it's like the song's about like it's kind of like it's a spiritual thing, it's like a deity that's like speaking to me, and like he's like rapping to me, and it's like it was weird. It was like this is like, you know, he was like we just freestyled it, and like. It was bugged out. It was like totally like, it was like, we kept walking out of this one restaurant next door to my house. It was like, all right, action. Like he kept saying action. Like we were waiting for him to say it. And he's like, all right, action. And it was like a real movie.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. You had the clicker and everything.
No, he just like
he just clapped the hands.
We gotta get that.
Yeah, we do it. That's gonna be next on the
budget list. That's the next on the budget list.
It's easy to make them, bro. You can like just get some wood. You know what I mean? That's how they do it.
Because what I normally do is anyway, I'll just like everything's all digital, so I'll highlight whatever clip I'm gonna keep or whatever. Or I'll delete something. You know what I'm saying? Like I
always thought a funny idea would be instead of having the clicker, you just had an air horn. It'd be annoying as fuck. No,
I like the little guns that say bang.
This guy saying, "Do you freestyle? If you do, I'll give you 3 words."
Oh yeah. So can you use escape, Tokyo, and room in a freestyle?
Okay. I'm international. Flows roll like Tokyo. Escape from the room. Got you up in the chokehold. Spit rhymes flow off the top of this hip hop. Hypocrisy is all about the politics. Abolish that shit. I freestyle off the top of this. Keep on rocking this. All I know is going to the right when he on top of this. Landed flip quicks like a flip tricks. I'm smashing it. Coming through the center and I'm dancing it. I don't know.
That was good, bro. You could have ended that like 3 bars earlier. And it would have been like just as good.
That's 3 words.
Fucking awesome, bro. Oh shit, I can't do that.
He said Tokyo and room.
Yeah, like, fucking those are random.
Tokyo and room.
Yeah, for real.
Escape the Tokyo room. The Johns. That's what he was just saying.
What'd you say?
The Johns.
The Johns.
Damn, I use your terminology.
Yeah, the Philly thing. Nah, dude, I was just telling him. Were you listening? I was saying like John, like he was saying he's a wordsmith and he'll come up with like slang terms. And I'm like, yeah, man, like John is like a comma in my vocabulary.
Dude, no, that's a comma in like a lot of people in Philly's vocabulary. Like, and it means like 50 different things.
It like, can be whatever you want. It's so
like
powerful.
John, like that John, yo, like it'd be a hoe or like
or a hot dog.
Yeah, like
hot dog. Yeah.
Yo, I was eating one of them Johns over here about a joint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh shit, bro. No, that's awesome, man. So we're coming up on like 2 hours right now. Not rushing. I just wanted to keep.
Yeah. We're gonna pull the plug soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me ask like a couple more questions. Let's kind of discuss about what you have kind of coming up right here. Like I'm really hoping that we can get some collaborative stuff going.
Oh, I'm down, bro.
Maybe like have John like shoot a music video with some skateboarding with some rapping too.
He raps too.
John raps. Let's fucking go, bro.
On the side on some little fun shit.
John's a rapper.
Let's fucking go, bro.
I'm a SoundCloud rapper.
We got the Wes Nihilistic. It's Wes WESNIHIL. Like nihilistic, like the utter nothingness of nothing. The West Nile West Side story just dropped. I'm putting out new content every day of a live video of different locations, whether Sopranos locations or just famous. We went viral on TikTok because I put a robe on and I went to Tony Soprano's house and I had like a newspaper and I just kind of walked down the driveway and picked up the newspaper with like a cigar in my mouth and my underwear and slippers. And they were like, "Are you at Tony Soprano's house in your underwear?" Like, some people were like, "Who the fuck's this guy moving in town? Like, who's taking over Tony Soprano's house?"
That's funny as shit, yeah.
But and again, like I'm just making music, man, and continuing doing things. Like I don't really the plan is to not have a plan and have a plan at the same time, I guess. I mean, just keep creating, putting out content, putting out every day, you know, trying to just continually like come up with stuff that we could put out. And I'm working on another EP with my homie Chucky Beats. I'm working on I'm just putting out a single pretty much like every 2 weeks too.
That's awesome, and you're doing so many collaborative things.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to do? Like, is there someone you would like to collaborate with?
I'm trying to. I'm in the works. One of my homies is in a group with Killer Priest. I'm trying to shout outs to Killer Priest. I want to do a track with Killer Priest. I want to do something with Cool Keith in the future. Shout outs to Ray West, the producer. He did an album with Cool Keith.
Nice.
We had a little something going on. It just I recorded a bunch of stuff that we never did with, but we're gonna start clicking up with Ray again. There's a lot of people that I'd like to work with. There's some different, I know Isaac, Danny Diablo has an album coming out that I'm featured on. I was just on a track with Jason, the Sin God, originally from Alabama. Shout outs to Jason. I'm on a bunch of tracks. Shout outs to Berserk again. He's an amazing producer, amazing rapper. He just put out an album, Multiple Disturbances. I'm on that. I've been on a couple of things. I was on the Mars album with Danny Diablo, their Devils and Demons project. There's a lot of things I've been on that I don't even acknowledge. Not that I don't acknowledge, it's just to do so much shit I forget about it. To be honest with you, it's like
no doubt,
I'm just
bro.
in the moment.
You're putting stuff out at such a frequent kind of interval.
And this is the first album I put out in 5 years, so this is a big milestone for me, just because it's just getting that first thing out and just getting it back in the circuit with like the CD Baby and getting it all out on all the digital platforms, and then it transcribes to everything else down the road,
Hell yeah, man. Are you in the works at all with doing another release of like an EP or an album with razorbladehandgrenade?
Actually, yeah. There's a band that I can't announce it because it's not confirmed, but there's an old school hardcore band, beatdown band. That's all I'm gonna say, from the '90s that we might be doing a split with, or we might be putting it out single. We're working on a bunch of stuff. We have about 8 songs, so we have almost a full album worth, but we're only gonna put 4 songs, like I said, because it's hard for people to digest shit nowadays. Yeah. It's like so hard for people to digest music, large. Yeah, you give people 12 songs, they just it doesn't take. You gotta drop singles, drop 4 songs, drop a video, drop content every day, drop one video every day, and it doesn't matter. You just force content out the fucking gate. Just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And that's really what it comes down to. This guy here.
You stay creative. You just whatever comes on your mind, you just do it, no matter how crazy.
Yeah, it is. I just don't really like slow down. I don't hit the brakes too much. If I'm going like 90 miles an hour and there's a guardrail, like we're gonna smash into it, but we're gonna try to the wheel may be like a little janky, but like you're still figure it out. Me and John, besides being artists, different artists that work together, we formed a friendship. We're both Cancers, like our astrological sign. So we got a lot in common, a lot of different things, and we'll just talk all the time about all different. We'll go from video talking to like business to like just personal, just like creative vision, like homie shit. Just always like kind of like we have a lot of things in common, so I think that's where we connected in a different level. I just wanted to add that to the whole infrastructure.
It makes the working on videos easier. You know what I'm
saying?
See,
he manifested himself here. Like I was like, "Hey, John, where you at?" He's like, "Oh, I happen to be walking by the house. I'm in the neighborhood." And then he just came in, bam, just like that. Shazam! That's that magic shit.
You're a goon, bro.
That Thank you. The freestyle was fire. That was just off the top.
I know, man.
I said in that song, the second verse, the pesos. I'll leave you like one of the exit intros. I said, what is it? Hey yo, get these pesos. I gotta spit the whole song in my head, and then it comes out. I made a pact, so I be down to the death of me. You can't change fate, written in blood, it's just destiny. I cook up flows like methamphetamines. You took the wrong path and went and became my enemy. I sit back, relax, and make money. Stay strapped intact, go play dummy. Well dressed, don't stress you, mad bummy. Cash in the cargo pants, I'm mad clunky. We in the hood drinking brews like a hobo. Doing shows, set to blow like a fofo. Got your shorty shaking her ass like a go-go. She hit my DM wanting dick. I said no, ho. I stay pimping it, lyrically all intricate. Break something down real quick for these simpletons. Wrote it down, hold it down as I envisioned it. Don't make up shit, cause this is how we live in it. A Sharp said, yo, Wes, just go and pop shit. I replied, I'm locked and loaded, cocked, and yo, I got 6 rhymes for they mind. Every time I get obnoxious in the booth like a runaway train, you cannot stop this. On our own, hit your dome like it's close range. All alone in the zone with no dope chains. Just make the microphone glow like a gold flame. Fire every time, all the line, and it don't change.
My God.
Something like that.
I wish I could do that with guitar.
You could. You could, bro. Get the guitar. We'll make it do what we're having.
Well, we're gonna do something with it for sure. I have a question, right? This is an interesting question that I feel like only you can answer.
Okay.
Because of where you're coming from the genres that you're doing. What is the craziest story you have from like a mosh pit basement show?
Oh my God!
Versus like your craziest hip hop story. Like which one? Which like people are crazier in the live shows?
I mean, I don't think it's people necessarily that are crazier. It's sometimes I think I gotta point the finger at myself to see what's like. Cause I've done shows before where like I'm like, yo, give me a beer. I need a beer. I'm on stage and people were like, and I'll run out into the crowd. Like, and just get off the stage and go get a beer and pay for it and come back on stage. Sometimes there'd be so many people. One time I almost ripped someone's ear off climbing across people's heads. And my foot slipped and like I almost ripped this homie's ear off. And he's like, yo, man, you almost ripped my ear off. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. He's like, no, it's okay, man. Totally fine. Another show. This kid came up to me. It was a Cro-Mags show in the city. We played a co-headline, I think. And it was one of our newer songs. And this shit jumped off so hard that, like, it got so violent that, like, you can see the video. It's on YouTube. And it was during a song that was called My Set. We just put it out. No one knew the lyrics. But people were dancing like they knew the breakdown. And I was like, yes, the last opportunity to dance around. Like, we'll make some fucking, like, make some motion in the mosh pit. And, like, I was very good at crowd controlling. Like, people listen to me. And this kid comes up from, like, Russia. And he's like, oh, my God, bro, your set was amazing. I think I broke my nose. And he's, like, gushing blood. I'm like, bro, you all right? He goes, best fucking show ever. This is best show ever. And it said in the newspaper or the feed during Cro-Mags, noses were broken. It was during Razorblade hand grenade that homeboy's nose got broken. I have millions of stories. Hip-hop wise, I don't know, man. Hip-hop wise.
That Russian one was a good one.
Yeah. I have like 1,000 of those things. The hip-hop wise, I'd say shit, man. I don't really, to be honest with you, there's a lot of crazy stories from hip-hop shows, but I can't think of anyone that really stands out to me. You know, the hip-hop and the hardcore and the punk rock, it's all one orb. It's all one centered energy. So all the creative outlets and all the crazy shit that happens in my life is a show. Life's a show. So anything that happens is in an entertainment form, I guess, if you want to look at it like that. But it's a lot of the crazy shit that I do and say aren't. I'm not trying to be crazy. It's just I'm just out of my mind, I guess, in a good way. And people are like, you know, you're fucking out of your mind. I was like, I love you though, bro. I love you. You're fucking completely insane. But like I was telling that story before outside that I probably can't repeat on here. But like, you were like, what? What are you talking about? Like, that really happened? Like, is that a movie? Did you watch a movie like The Twilight Zone or some shit? Like, no, that really is. That's just like regular stuff. Like, I don't mean to be funny. It's just I'm just being honest, and it's just like it's like comically like fucking you can't make that shit up.
That's fucking wild, man. So like, if you had to say like what was the craziest thing you've seen at like a hip hop show, maybe in Europe? I'm curious. Like,
oh man, shit. In Greece, they got like the six side Psycho Realm. They have like a cult following, and homeboy like lit off a flare in the front of the crowd. Like people came up to us and like wanted to go do. Shout outs to this a couple writers in out in where were we? I forget which country it was. They're like, oh, can you get Isaac? We want to go make graffiti. Go tagging. I'm like, what? They're like, can you come with us? We want to go tagging. And I'm like, all right, I'll talk to him. And I'm like, I was like so shot out. I was like, oh, these kids want to go. He's like, all right, no doubt, we'll go with them. Because we just did an art show in Greece, like a big graffiti arts music festival.
Crazy, bro.
And then we were in this next country the next day, so we had all these cans of spray paint with us. So we went like tagging at like fucking 3-4 in the morning. Like this country, they probably would have like bound, gagged, and shot us if they caught us. And like I woke up the next day and like the whole highway was like smashed, bro. Like lit up. We were like skateboarding down the street like 3-4 in the morning, like me and Isaac, and like that's just like one of the like stories. Like I was
wild.
it was there's all kinds of other crazy shit that like, you know, just insane stuff that you can't make up, that's like once in a lifetime type deal. Like borderline like am I gonna make it back home alive? Fuck it, whatever. I'm living my life today. You know, we'll figure it out down the road. Like don't think about it. Like there's something positive watching over us.
Graffiti's pretty big over there, right?
Oh,
Like,
it's huge, yeah.
So do you have any like maybe not even necessarily graffiti artists, but like any inspirational like visual artists that maybe inspired
I mean
some of your style?
graffiti wise style, just the whole genre from the 80s, like Style Wars. We were just talking about that with the homie that owns the Champion Sound. You know, that's the beginning beginning epidemic, the metamorphosis of all this hip hop and hardcore and the graffiti. It all comes from the street, and all comes from like the Style Wars genre. Like that's where it all came from. And like the computer rock, and where it was almost futuristic back then. Like scene and all these old school, like he says in the movie Star Wars, he says he goes he says he's like, I'm on a 5-month probation. I call it a 5-month vacation. And like he's like, you know, he's taking a break from doing graph because he got busted or whatever, but they were doing a big wall, and just that whole New York, Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, that whole, it's just raw. It makes you want to go out and just write. It makes you want to go out. And I was never really a big writer myself. I used to tag. I call myself a street artist all around. Like I tattoo, I write, I do music. I'm a street artist. You know, it's art from the street. Not like to make it sound corny, because a lot of people marginalize street artists as like this new street art. It's like it's looked down upon, but it's like I say street artist in the most rawest form, meaning an artist from the street. You know, whether it be my tattoos or my music or I do a lot of stencils. I do a lot like so many different fucking formats of different
like
shit.
The stencils like Banksy and shit.
Yeah, stuff like that. You know, I do a lot of like there's still stuff rocking in like Manhattan.
Exit Through the Gift Shop.
Yeah. It's a pretty good movie. Yeah, it's a really good movie. Yeah,
that's fucking cool, man. I almost got inspired to do some stuff with that. I won't go too specific on some things. Maybe I did, but
okay, nice.
That's definitely a really good documentary. I highly recommend that one, because it makes you see how like money can corrupt something.
Oh yeah, and destroy it, and just kind of destroy it.
Yeah.
Destroy the love for it.
Yeah. And just like make it less sacred and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So weird how that shit can happen to anything. It's not just music. It's not just, you know, movies.
Yeah.
That and the other thing.
No,
it can
of course.
Be fucking anything, bro. But all right, man. It looks like we're closing in on like 2 hours, 15 minutes. Do you want to give any shout outs to anybody?
Shout outs to everybody following my music. Shout outs to everybody doing their own music. Shout outs to all the independent artists. Shout outs to all the fans, all the homies, East Coast to West Coast, worldwide. Shout outs to people generating positive energy and doing better for them and their lives right now. And shout outs to everybody who supports and reposts and shares. Shout outs to the people that are uniting as one in the nation and coming together despite all this bullshit that's going on. And yeah, shout outs to everyone doing their own thing and making their own mark. And again, everyone who's been showing us love, much love and respect, man. It's all equated back to the major part of it. It's not any specific person. It's to everyone that's a part of what we're a part of. This is like they say in hardcore, like, yo, this is my stage. You come up here, you come sing with me. This is your mic. You know, this is our thing. It's not an ego thing. It's a universal one format, like hip hop, hardcore, punk rock, skateboarding, gangster shit, street shit. Everything's connected, interconnected, reinterconnected through a time portal, man. It's like, you know, shout outs to everybody living their life and doing what they love to do and following their dreams and their passion, whether whatever it may be. And I don't know. That's all I gotta say about that.
Hell yeah, bro. That was quite the outro.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for coming on the show,
you.
homie. Looking forward to putting out some collaborative content
Yes.
with the man, Wes.
Look out soon. We got a whole bunch more videos, whole much more content. We're doing some Forged and Fire stuff. We're making swords. I'm joking, but I want to do that too.
Hell yeah. And John's probably going to be behind the camera on that shit too.
I'm tattooing all I know is goon on my forehead. I'm joking, but I'm not. We'll see if we get that sponsorship.
We'll see which body part.
If we put up $20,000, I'll get all I know is goon on my forehead. You guys are in?
Send it to his PayPal.
Yeah.
All right, man. John, can you hit the stop streaming lower right red, John?
Peace.
Yep.